The 10 Forgotten Laws of the Universe. Introduction. Have you ever felt it? That quiet, nagging feeling that you are pushing a giant boulder up a very steep hill. You do everything you are supposed to do. You work hard. You try to be a good person. You follow the rules laid out by society, yet the boulder feels heavier each day. The peak of the hill seems to get farther away, not closer. You might find moments of happiness, fleeting glimpses of peace, but the underlying feeling is one of struggle. It is a quiet exhaustion, a sense that something fundamental is missing from the equation of your life. You look around and see the world spinning with chaos and confusion, and you wonder if this struggle is just the way things are. You wonder if life is meant to be this hard. I am here to tell you that it is not. The struggle you feel is real, but it is not necessary. It comes from a simple, profound misunderstanding. It comes from trying to navigate the world without knowing its most basic rules of operation. Imagine trying to sail a ship without any knowledge of the wind or the currents. You would row with all your might, fighting the invisible forces, growing tired and frustrated, and wondering why you are making so little progress. You might even blame the ship, or the oars, or yourself. But the problem is not with you or your effort. The problem is that you are working against the fundamental nature of the ocean instead of working with it. The universe operates in much the same way. It is governed by subtle, invisible, yet immensely powerful laws. These are not laws in the human sense, rules that can be broken or followed with threat of punishment. They are principles as fundamental as gravity. You do not see gravity, but you live your entire life in accordance with it. You do not have to believe in gravity for it to hold you to the earth. You work with it unconsciously every single moment. You know that if you drop a glass, it will fall. You have learned to live in harmony with that particular law. But there are other laws that govern energy, consciousness, thought, and creation that we as a culture have collectively forgotten. Because we have forgotten them, we unknowingly work against them every single day. We try to force outcomes. We try to build our lives with brute effort alone. We swim against the powerful currents of the universe and then wonder why we are so tired. We feel separate, alone, and powerless because we have forgotten the very principles that connect us to the magnificent power of life itself. This book is a journey of remembrance. It is a simple guide to these forgotten laws. It is not about adding more complicated rules or spiritual dogma to your life. In fact, it is the opposite. It is about removing the unnecessary struggle. It is about learning to turn your ship just a few degrees so that the powerful winds of the universe fill your sails and carry you forward with ease and grace. Each chapter will gently unveil one of these forgotten laws. We will explore it not through complicated philosophy, but through simple language, relatable stories, and even facts from the world of science that show us these principles are not just mystical ideas, but observable truths about how our world works. For each law, you will be given simple, practical tools and exercises, things you can start doing today to align yourself with its power. This is not about becoming a different person. It is about letting go of the struggle and finally allowing the magnificent person you already are to emerge. It is about finding more ease, more joy, and more purpose, not by adding more to your life, but by understanding the powerful, benevolent design that is already here, waiting to support you. The hum of the world is a song of creation, and it is time for you to learn the melody. Chapter 1. The Law of the Seed. Let us begin our journey with the most foundational law of all, and perhaps the one we have forgotten most deeply. It is a law so simple, so obvious in the world of nature, that we overlook it in our own lives every single day. This is the law of the seed. The law states this: everything that you will ever be, everything you could ever dream of becoming, and every ounce of your divine purpose is already contained within you right now, in this very moment. It exists in a state of pure, latent potential, Just like a towering, magnificent oak tree is fully and completely contained within the tiny, humble shell of an acorn. Your job in this life is not to go out and build yourself from scratch. Your job is not to hustle and strive to become worthy. Your sacred task is to discover the seed of greatness that is already planted within your soul and to create the right conditions for it to grow. This idea runs contrary to almost everything modern culture teaches us. We are told that we are blank slates. We are told that we must go out into the world and acquire skills, collect achievements, and build a personality piece by piece, as if we are constructing a machine. We are taught to look outside of ourselves for value, for purpose, for identity. We look at successful people and think we must copy their every move to become like them. We try to become an oak tree by gluing leaves and branches onto our arms. We exhaust ourselves in this effort because it is a denial of our fundamental nature. You were not born as an empty vessel. You were born as a sacred seed, encoded with a unique and perfect blueprint for your own specific form of greatness. Your potential is not something you have to find. It is something you have to remember. It is not something you create. It is something you allow. Think about this for a moment. Take a literal seed, an acorn. Hold it in the palm of your hand. It is small, it is brown, it is hard. It seems insignificant. But within that tiny structure lies the complete and total blueprint for a massive oak tree. It contains the instructions for a root system that can anchor it against the strongest winds. It contains the code for a trunk that will grow thick and strong, reaching for the sky. It holds the design for thousands of branches and hundreds of thousands of leaves, each one perfectly formed to capture sunlight and transform it into life. It even contains the instructions for creating more acorns, for continuing the cycle of life. The acorn does not need to attend a seminar on how to become a tree. It does not need to read a book on root development. It does not need to feel insecure because it is not yet as tall as the other trees in the forest. All it needs are the right conditions. It needs fertile soil. It needs water. It needs sunlight. When those conditions are met, the acorn does not have to be forced to grow. It simply grows. It cannot help but grow. It is fulfilling the destiny that was encoded within it from the very beginning. You are exactly the same. Within your being, within your very DNA and the energy of your soul, is a seed. For some, it may be the seed of a healer, with the innate potential for compassion and intuition. For others, it might be the seed of an artist, encoded with a unique vision and the ability to bring beauty into the world. It could be the seed of a leader, a teacher, an innovator, a builder, a nurturer, a comedian. The form of the seed does not matter. What matters is the profound truth that it is already there. You have a unique purpose, a unique gift to offer the world that no one else can. When you try to be something you are not, when you try to plant an apple seed and force it to become a pine tree, you create immense internal conflict and struggle. Your entire being resists this inauthentic path. This resistance is what we so often experience as depression, anxiety, and that feeling of pushing a boulder up a hill. It is your soul's way of telling you that you are trying to grow in the wrong garden, or that you are trying to be the wrong kind of plant. The first step to a life of ease and flow is to honor the seed you were given. Let us look at how this truth is mirrored in the world of science, a world we trust to tell us how things really work. The field of biology gives us the perfect and undeniable proof of this law. Every single cell in your body, from a skin cell on your hand to a neuron in your brain, contains your complete DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. This DNA is a biological blueprint, a staggeringly complex set of instructions for building and operating your entire physical being. It is a library of information that, if written out, would fill thousands of books. This blueprint dictates the color of your eyes, the texture of your hair, your height, and your predisposition to certain physical traits. The potential for your entire physical form was contained in the first single cell that you were. That cell did not have to invent the idea of a heart or a lung. The information was already there, waiting for the right time and the right signals to be expressed. The process of life is not one of invention, but of unfolding. It is a process of expressing the potential that is already latent. Now, let us take this a step further into the realm of your mind and your abilities. For a long time, it was believed that the adult brain was a fixed entity. We thought that after a certain age, you were stuck with the brain you had. You could not get smarter, you could not learn new major skills easily, and you could not heal from certain types of brain damage. This has been proven to be completely and utterly false. The revolutionary discovery in neuroscience is a concept called neuroplasticity. The word itself is beautiful. Neuro, for the neurons or nerve cells in your brain, and plasticity, meaning moldable or changeable, like plastic. Neuroplasticity means that your brain is constantly changing and reorganizing itself in response to your experiences, your thoughts, and your actions. Think of your brain as a dense, untamed jungle. When you learn something new, like playing a chord on a guitar, you're creating a tiny footpath in that jungle. The first time you do it, it is difficult. You have to hack your way through the undergrowth. The signal between the neurons is weak and slow, but if you practice it again, the path becomes a little clearer. Practice it 100 times, and the footpath becomes a well-trodden trail. Practice it 1,000 times, and that trail becomes a paved road. Practice it 10,000 times, and it becomes a multi-lane superhighway. The electrical signals travel down that pathway instantly and effortlessly. This is how habits are formed. This is how skills are mastered. The potential for that superhighway was always there. The neurons were there. The space was there. All that was required was the focused attention and repetition to activate and strengthen the connection. The seed of the skill was a potential pathway, and you nurtured it into existence with your focus. You did not create the neurons. You simply commanded them to form a new, strong connection. You activated a latent potential. This is not spiritual wishful thinking. This is the verifiable physical reality of how your brain operates. You have the power to literally rewire your own mind. The seeds for new habits, new beliefs, and new talents are sitting dormant in your brain right now, waiting for you to decide which ones you want to water. This scientific understanding aligns perfectly with the ancient spiritual wisdom found across cultures and throughout time. In the Hindu tradition, there is the concept of dharma. Dharma is often translated as purpose or duty, but it is much deeper than that. It is your essential, intrinsic nature. It is the role that only you can play in the cosmic order. The dharma of fire is to burn. The dharma of water is to flow. The dharma of an oak seed is to become an oak tree. To live in alignment with your dharma is to live in alignment with your deepest truth, to express the seed of your soul. To go against it is to create suffering. The spiritual traditions of the world are all pointing to the same truth. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The Buddha nature is inherent in all beings. Your higher self, your Atman, your soul, whatever name you choose to use, is this eternal, wise part of you that knows the blueprint. It knows the design on the seed. Your deepest intuition, those quiet nudges and feelings, that is the voice of your soul trying to guide you back to your own personal garden. You are not a mistake. You are a mission. The universe did not create you by accident. Your unique combination of talents, passions, quirks, and desires is a specific recipe for a gift that the world needs. Your power lies not in conforming, but in courageously embracing your own unique design. When you do this, something magical happens. The struggle begins to melt away. The boulder you were pushing reveals itself to be full of helium. Life begins to conspire in your favor, bringing you the right people, the right opportunities, and the right resources, not as a reward, but because you are finally in alignment with your true energetic signature. You are singing your correct note in the cosmic symphony, and the entire orchestra rises to harmonize with you. So how do we begin this process of excavation? How do we find this seed if it has been buried for so long under layers of conditioning, self-doubt, and the expectations of others? We must become gentle archaeologists of our own souls. We must start to dig, not with force, but with curiosity and compassion. This brings us to our first practical application, a powerful exercise I call the acorn inventory. For this, you will need a journal and a pen, and a moment of quiet where you will not be disturbed. Find a comfortable place to sit. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of the day. Let go of who you think you should be. Let go of your to-do list. Just be here, now. Take another deep breath. Imagine your mind is a still lake. At the top of a fresh page in your journal, I want you to write the title, The Acorn Inventory. This is not a test. There are no right or wrong answers. This is an act of pure discovery. Now, I want you to reflect on the first question and write down whatever comes to mind without judgment. Question 1. What did you love to do as a child, before the world told you what you should be doing? Before you worried about making money or being cool or getting a real job? What brought you pure, unadulterated joy? Did you spend hours drawing imaginary worlds? Did you build elaborate cities out of blocks? Did you love to take apart old radios to see how they worked? Did you organize the other kids in the neighborhood into elaborate games? Did you spend your time reading every book you could get your hands on? Were you constantly singing or telling stories or climbing trees? Write it all down. These childhood passions are the purest clues to the nature of your seed. They are the first tender sprouts that emerged before they were trampled by expectation. Now for the second question, what do other people, a trusted friend, a family member, consistently compliment you on? I am not talking about superficial compliments on your appearance. I mean the things people genuinely appreciate about you. Do people always tell you that you are a great listener? Do they say you have a calming presence? Do they tell you that you are amazing at explaining complicated things in a simple way? Do they say you give the best advice? Do they marvel at your ability to organize a chaotic situation? Do they laugh and say you should be a comedian? Often our greatest gifts are so natural to us that we do not even see them as special. We assume everyone can do what we do. Listen to what the world is already reflecting back to you. These compliments are mirrors showing you the light you naturally radiate. Write down what you hear. Third question. What subjects or topics do you feel an insatiable curiosity for? What could you spend hours learning about for no practical reason at all? Is it ancient history? Is it the mysteries of the cosmos? Is it how to grow the perfect tomato? Is it psychology and human behavior? Is it the latest advancements in technology? Is it sustainable architecture? Your natural curiosity is the pull of your soul toward the knowledge it needs to help your seed grow. It is the root system of your potential, seeking out the specific nutrients it requires. Do not discount any topic as silly or useless. If it fascinates you, it is important. List them all out. Fourth, and this is a crucial one, what activities make you lose all track of time? This is often called a flow state. It is that magical experience where you are so immersed in what you are doing that the hours melt away. Your inner critic goes silent. You are not worried about the outcome. You are simply in love with the process. For some, this is gardening. For others, it is coding, or cooking, or playing a musical instrument, or fixing an engine, or deep conversation. When you are in a state of flow, you are in perfect alignment with your Dharma. You are watering your seed with the purest form of focused, joyful attention. Identify these activities in your life. If you feel you do not have any, think back to a time when you did. Finally, the fifth question. If you knew you could not fail and money was no object, what would you dedicate your life to doing? Let your imagination run wild here. Suspend all disbelief. Would you start an animal sanctuary? Would you write a novel? Would you travel the world and document different cultures? Would you invent a new form of clean energy? Would you create a community center for underprivileged youth? This question helps you bypass your fear-based, practical mind and connect directly with the grandest vision your soul holds for you. The vision of the fully grown, magnificent tree that your acorn is destined to become. Take your time with this inventory. It is the most important research you will ever do. When you are finished, look over your answers. Look for patterns. Look for themes. Do you see a thread of creativity? A thread of service to others? A thread of problem solving? A thread of connection with nature? This list is your treasure map. It contains the coordinates to the buried treasure of your true self. These are not just hobbies or interests. These are the core components of your purpose. Once you have an idea of the kind of seed you are nurturing, the next step in living by this law is to create your greenhouse. An acorn thrown onto concrete will not grow, no matter how much potential it has. It needs a supportive environment. You are the same. You must become a conscious gardener of your own life. This is our second practical application, creating your greenhouse. Your greenhouse has 4 essential components: the soil, the water, the sun, and the weeds. First, the soil. The soil is your mind, your beliefs. If your mind is filled with toxic, limiting beliefs, your seed cannot take root. Beliefs like, I am not good enough, it is too late for me, I do not deserve to be happy, or I will never be successful, are like rocky, acidic soil. They starve your potential before it even has a chance to sprout. You must begin the work of cultivating rich, fertile soil. This begins with awareness. Start to notice your self-talk. When you make a mistake, what is the first thing you say to yourself? Is it kind and encouraging, or is it harsh and critical? When you catch a negative, limiting belief, you do not have to fight it. Simply label it. That is the I am not good enough story again. Just by noticing it, you take away its power. Then, you consciously plant a new seed of belief. You can use affirmations. An affirmation is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing a belief you want to grow into. Instead of, I am not good in social situations, you plant the seed of, I am learning to be more confident and connect with people authentically. You are stating your intention. You are tilling the soil of your mind to make it more hospitable for your growth. Second, the water. The water is your emotional state. It is the energy of self-compassion and self-love. You cannot berate a seed into growing. You cannot hate a flower into blooming. Shouting at a sapling will not make it a mighty oak. It needs gentle, consistent nourishment. You must learn to water your own seed with kindness. This means forgiving yourself for past mistakes. It means celebrating your small wins. It means allowing yourself to rest when you are tired instead of pushing through to exhaustion. When you feel negative emotions like fear or doubt, do not suppress them. This is like creating a drought. Instead, allow them to flow through you. Acknowledge the fear. I see that I am afraid of failing. Then, offer yourself a drink of compassion. It is okay to be afraid. I will take the next small step anyway. This emotional nurturing is the life-giving water that your potential needs to thrive. Third, the sun. The sun is your attention and focus. What you focus on grows. Where you direct the light of your consciousness, energy flows. If you spend all your time focusing on the news, on celebrity gossip, on social media drama, and on what is wrong with the world, you are shining the powerful light of your attention on weeds. You are giving your precious life force to things that do not nourish your seed. You must become fiercely protective of your attention. Curate your information diet the same way you would curate a healthy food diet. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Mute people who are constantly negative. Turn off the news if it only fills you with rage and helplessness. Instead, consciously direct the sun of your attention onto things that inspire you. Read books by people you admire. Listen to podcasts that teach you something new. Watch documentaries about incredible human achievements or the beauty of the natural world. Spend time with people who uplift you and believe in your potential. Your attention is the sunlight. Use it to warm the soil and energize the sprout of your own becoming. Finally, we must deal with the weeds. Weeds are the people, environments, and habits in your life that choke your growth. A weed is anything that drains your energy, belittles your dreams, and reinforces your limiting beliefs. This can be a toxic relationship, a soul-crushing job, or a habit like mindlessly scrolling on your phone for hours. Identifying the weeds is a crucial act of self-preservation. This does not mean you have to cut everyone out of your life tomorrow, but it does mean you must start setting boundaries. It means limiting your time in environments that feel draining. It means lovingly saying no to things that are not in alignment with your growth. Every weed you pull from your garden creates more space, more nutrients, and more light for your true potential to flourish. This can be the most difficult part of the process, but it is absolutely essential. You cannot grow a beautiful garden if you allow it to be overrun with thorns and thistles. Living by the law of the seed is a radical act of trust. It is a shift from a mindset of striving to a mindset of allowing. It is a shift from looking outside for answers to listening deeply within. It is the understanding that you are not a project to be fixed, but a potential to be unfolded. Your life is not a problem to be solved, but a masterpiece waiting to be revealed. The journey may be long. An oak tree does not grow overnight. There will be periods of slow growth, periods of dormancy in the winter of your life. But if you remain faithful to the seed you were given, if you diligently tend to your inner garden, you will grow. You cannot help but grow. The blueprint is within you. The power of the entire universe is conspiring to help you express it. Trust the seed. Trust the process. Your magnificent, unique, and sacred purpose is waiting. All you have to do is create the space for it to come alive. Chapter 2. The Law of the Echo. In the last chapter, we uncovered a profound truth. The truth that you are a seed containing the entire blueprint of your magnificent potential. Now we must learn the second great forgotten law, which governs how that seed communicates with the world around it and calls forth the resources it needs to grow. This is the law of the echo, or what can be called the law of vibrational resonance. The law is this: the universe does not respond to your words, your wishes, or your desperate pleas. It responds, with flawless and impersonal precision, to your underlying emotional state, to the energy you are broadcasting in every single moment. Your feeling is the signal. Your life is the echo. Like a vast sonic canyon, the world does not give you what you want. It gives you back what you are. This is one of the most misunderstood principles of reality. We have been taught a very superficial version of this idea, often boiled down to think positive. So we try. We walk around forcing a smile on our face, repeating affirmations like, "I am happy, I am wealthy, I am loved," while underneath that fragile surface, our heart is a storm of anxiety, our stomach is a knot of fear, and our mind is screaming with doubt. We are shouting one thing into the canyon, but our very being is screaming another, and we wonder why the echo that comes back to us is the sound of struggle, fear, and lack. The universe is not fooled by the words you say. It cannot be. It does not speak English or Spanish or Japanese. It speaks the universal language of energy. It speaks the language of vibration. The feeling in your body, the frequency you are emitting from your core, that is the truth. That is the prayer. That is the command. Imagine you have two tuning forks, both tuned to the note of middle C. You place them on a table a few feet apart. You gently tap one of the tuning forks and it begins to hum, to vibrate at a very specific frequency, 261.63 Hz. It sings its note into the air. What happens next is a small miracle of physics called sympathetic resonance. The second tuning fork, without being touched, will begin to vibrate and hum with the exact same note. The sound waves, the invisible energy from the first fork, traveled through the space and caused the second one to sing in harmony. Now, if the second tuning fork was tuned to a different note, a D or an E, it would remain silent. It is not capable of resonating with the frequency of C. It is not on the same wavelength. You are the first tuning fork. Your dominant, authentic emotional state is the note you are constantly playing. The world around you, with all of its people, its conditions, its situations, and its opportunities, is a vast collection of other tuning forks, all tuned to different notes. When you consistently vibrate at the frequency of gratitude, the universe has no choice but to bring you people, circumstances, and experiences that match that frequency. You will start noticing more things to be grateful for. People will be kinder to you. Opportunities will appear that feel like blessings. The gratitude tuning forks in the world around you will begin to sing. If you consistently vibrate at the frequency of fear, you are sending out a different signal. You will begin to attract and notice things that validate that fear. You will encounter situations that feel threatening. You will interpret neutral events through a lens of anxiety. The fear tuning forks in the world will begin to vibrate in sympathy with you. This is not a punishment. This is not a reward. This is physics. This is the law of the echo. Let us explore this even more deeply through a fascinating field of science called cymatics. Cymatics is the study of visible sound. Scientists will place a metal plate over a speaker and cover the plate with a thin layer of sand or a small amount of water. Then, they play a sound frequency through the speaker. What happens is breathtaking. When they play a harmonious frequency, a pure, consonant musical note, the sand or water instantly arranges itself into a stunningly beautiful and complex geometric pattern. It forms mandalas, hexagons, and intricate floral shapes. The visible matter organizes itself into a coherent, beautiful form in response to a harmonious vibration. However, when they play a dissonant, chaotic, or jarring noise through the speaker, the sand becomes a chaotic, disorganized mess. There is no pattern, no coherence, no beauty. It is simply a reflection of the incoherent energy being fed into it. Your life is that plate of sand. Your emotional energy is the frequency being played. When your inner world is in a state of coherence, when you are cultivating feelings of love, joy, peace, and gratitude, your outer world begins to organize itself into a beautiful, coherent pattern. Your relationships become more harmonious. Your work flows more easily. Your health improves. Your life takes on a quality of grace and beauty. When your inner world is in a state of chaos, dominated by feelings of anger, resentment, victimhood, and fear, your outer world reflects that dissonance. You experience conflict in your relationships, constant struggle in your work, and your health may suffer. Your life feels like a chaotic, disorganized mess. You are the composer of the symphony, and your life is the dance of the sand. You cannot create a beautiful pattern with chaotic music. You must first change the note you are playing. Perhaps the most powerful scientific evidence for this law comes from right inside your own body. For centuries, we have considered the brain to be the master organ, the seat of our power. But groundbreaking research from institutions like the HeartMath Institute has revealed a stunning truth. The heart is a far more powerful energetic center than the brain. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 60 times greater in amplitude and up to 5,000 times stronger than the field produced by your brain. This field is not confined to your body. It radiates outwards from you in a torus shape, like a donut extending several feet in all directions. People standing near you are literally bathing in the electromagnetic field of your heart. And what determines the quality of this field? Your emotions. The researchers at HeartMath have found that when you are experiencing stressful emotions like anger or frustration, the rhythm of your heart becomes erratic and disordered. The signal it sends out is incoherent and chaotic. This is like the jarring noise in the cymatics experiment. However, when you experience positive emotions like love, care, or appreciation, your heart rhythm becomes smooth, balanced, and highly ordered. It sends out a powerful, coherent, harmonious signal into the field. This signal is what the universe is responding to. This is why a simple, positive thought from your brain is often overridden by a powerful, negative heart feeling. Your heart's broadcast is thousands of times stronger. You can try to think a happy thought all day long, but if your heart is aching with sadness or burning with resentment, the message of sadness and resentment is what is truly being sent, and that is the echo you will receive. The ancient poets and mystics were not being metaphorical when they told us to follow your heart. They were stating a profound energetic truth. Your heart is the true broadcasting station of your reality. This is also why emotions are so contagious. We have all experienced this. You walk into a room where two people have just had a bitter argument. Even if they are silent, you can feel the tension in the air. What you are feeling is their incoherent, chaotic heart field broadcasting into the room. Conversely, you can be in the presence of someone who is genuinely peaceful or joyful, like a loving grandparent or a laughing child, and you feel yourself relax and lift up. Their coherent heart field is influencing your own. This is not just a psychological phenomenon, it is a biological one, explained in part by what neuroscientists call mirror neurons. These are special brain cells that fire not only when we perform an action, but also when we see someone else perform that action. On a deeper level, they allow us to feel the emotional state of others. We are hardwired for resonance. We are built to tune into the vibrations of those around us. This is why it is so crucial to be mindful of the company you keep. Spending time with angry, fearful, or cynical people is like sitting next to a dissonant tuning fork all day. Eventually, you will start to vibrate at their frequency. Spending time with joyful, loving, and inspiring people helps you to hold your own harmonious note. The great spiritual traditions of the world have understood this law for millennia. They may not have used the language of electromagnetic fields or tuning forks, but the wisdom was the same. In the Hindu tradition, the concept of prana is not just breath. It is the vital life force energy that animates all things. The quality of your prana, influenced by your emotional and mental state, determines the quality of your life. In Chinese medicine, qi is the fundamental energy that flows through the body. When your emotions are in turmoil, the flow of qi is blocked or stagnant, leading to illness. When you are emotionally balanced, the qi flows freely, bringing health and vitality. The Christian mystic Neville Goddard famously taught, "The feeling is the secret." He understood that assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled was the true creative act. It was not about begging God for something you did not have. It was about entering into the vibrational state of already having it, and then letting reality rearrange itself to match that state. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your being. So if this law is so powerful and so fundamental, why do so many of us feel like it is not working for us? Why do our lives so often feel like an echo of our fears rather than an echo of our dreams? There are several common ways we create a mismatch between the signal we think we are sending and the signal we are actually broadcasting. The first and most common trap is the paradox of wanting. We think that to get something, we must want it very, very badly. So we focus on what we want. I want more money. I want a loving partner. I want to be healthy. But look closer at the energy of the word want. To want something is to be in a state of not having it. The feeling of wanting is a declaration to the universe that you are in a state of lacking. The vibration of want is the vibration of absence. So when you walk around all day focused on what you want, you are marinating yourself in the feeling of lack. You are playing the lack note on your tuning fork over and over again. And what does the universe, the great echo, send back to you? It sends back more experiences of lack. It sends back more evidence that you do not have what you want. This is a devastating cycle. The more you want it, the more you feel the lack of it, and the more lack you attract. The secret is to shift your focus from wanting what you do not have to being grateful for what you do have. You must shift from the frequency of lack to the frequency of appreciation. You must find a way to feel the feeling of abundance, love, or health now, before the evidence shows up in your life. You have to generate the signal first. The echo will follow. It has no choice. The second major reason for this mismatch is the power of your subconscious mind. Think of your consciousness as an iceberg. The part that you are aware of, your conscious mind, your thoughts, your willpower. That is just the small tip of the iceberg above the water. The vast, powerful, submerged part of the iceberg is your subconscious mind. It holds every experience you have ever had, every belief you formed in childhood, every unresolved trauma, every societal conditioning. This subconscious mind is broadcasting a powerful frequency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is the deep bass note playing constantly beneath the melody of your conscious thoughts. You can be at the surface level, repeating, "I am worthy of love." But if you have a deep subconscious belief from childhood that says, "I am unlovable," which signal do you think is stronger? The whisper from the tip of the iceberg, or the massive vibrational broadcast from the submerged part? This is why just thinking positive thoughts often feels like painting a rusty car. It looks better for a little while, but the rust, the subconscious belief, will eventually eat through the new paint. Real transformation requires going deeper. It requires bringing these subconscious beliefs into the light of awareness where they can be healed and repatterned. The mirror of your life will always show you what is in your subconscious. The people and situations that trigger you the most are often just echoes of these deep hidden beliefs. The third obstacle is a phenomenon we can call emotional addiction. Emotions are not just psychological states, they are chemical states. When you feel a strong emotion like anger, your adrenal glands pump cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream. When you feel love, your brain releases oxytocin and dopamine. Your body, in its quest for homeostasis, can become accustomed to a certain chemical cocktail. If you have spent years living in a state of stress and victimhood, your body's cells have literally adapted to that chemical environment. The cells have more receptor sites for stress hormones than for joy hormones. So when you try to feel good, your body can go into a state of withdrawal. It will send signals to your brain to generate a negative thought just so it can get its familiar chemical fix of anger or fear. You can become literally addicted to feeling bad. It feels familiar. It feels like you. Breaking this addiction requires a conscious and determined effort to teach your body a new chemical state, to build new receptor sites for the hormones of joy, peace, and gratitude. It takes persistence to overcome the body's craving for its old, familiar misery. Knowing all this, the question becomes, how do we consciously and deliberately change our tune? How do we become the master composer of our life's symphony instead of a passive listener to its chaotic noise? This is not about forcing or faking a feeling. That is just more resistance. It is about gently and intentionally learning to generate the feelings you wish to experience more of. It is a practice like learning a musical instrument. You will be clumsy at first. You will play many wrong notes. But with consistent, gentle practice, you will become a virtuoso of vibration. Our first practical application is a foundational practice I call the emotional audit. You cannot change a frequency you are not aware you are broadcasting. Most of us go through our days on autopilot, completely oblivious to the subtle emotional currents running through us. The emotional audit is the act of pausing and becoming a curious observer of your own inner state. I want you to set an alarm on your phone for 3 times a day, morning, midday, and evening. When the alarm goes off, I want you to stop whatever you're doing. Close your eyes if you can. Take one deep breath and ask yourself this simple question. What am I feeling in my body right now? Do not ask your mind. Your mind will give you a story. Ask your body. Scan your body from head to toe. Is there a tightness in your throat, a fluttering in your chest, a heavy knot in your stomach, a warmth in your heart, a sense of expansive lightness, a dull ache in your shoulders? Just notice the physical sensation. Then give it a name. Is it anxiety? Is it peace? Is it frustration? Is it excitement? Is it boredom? Is it resentment? The key here is to do this with absolutely no judgment. Do not try to fix it. Do not berate yourself for feeling anxious. Simply notice it, as a scientist would notice the weather. Ah, interesting. There is a feeling of anxiety present right now. That is it. The simple act of noticing, of bringing the unconscious feeling into conscious awareness, is incredibly powerful. It is the first step in taking your power back. You are no longer the feeling. You are the one who is aware of the feeling. This creates a space between you and the emotion, and in that space lies your freedom to choose a different response. Once you become adept at identifying your current frequency, you can begin the practice of consciously changing it. This leads to our second exercise, the 5-minute resonance shift. This is not about denying your negative feelings. It is about acknowledging them and then deliberately choosing to activate a different, more harmonious frequency for a short period of time. Think of it like changing the station on a radio. You do not have to fight the static on the old station. You just turn the dial. Here are several ways to turn your dial. The first technique is gratitude amplification. We are often told to be grateful, so we make a mental list. I'm grateful for my house, my job, my family. This is a good start, but it is often just a thought exercise. To truly change your vibration, you must feel the gratitude in your body. So for your 5-minute shift, I want you to choose just one thing you are grateful for. It could be a person, a pet, a memory, or even the cup of coffee in your hand. Close your eyes and bring that one thing to mind. Now, do not just think about it. Feel it. If it is a person, feel the love you have for them welling up in your chest. If it is a pet, feel the joy of them greeting you at the door. If it is a beautiful sunset you once saw, bring up the image and remember the feeling of awe that washed over you. Immerse yourself in the sensory details of the feeling. Let the warmth of it spread through your body. Let it bring a smile to your face. Your only job for these 5 minutes is to marinate in that feeling. You are activating the gratitude tuning fork. You are sending a powerful, coherent signal from your heart. This is not pretending. You are activating a real feeling that already exists within you. Doing this for just 5 minutes can shift your entire energetic state for hours. The second technique is called the memory vault. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you remember a past event in great detail, your body produces the exact same chemistry as it did when the event actually happened. This is a powerful tool. In your memory vault, you will store a few go-to memories of times you felt the exact emotion you wish to generate. Have a memory of a time you felt profoundly loved. Have a memory of a time you laughed so hard your stomach hurt. Have a memory of a time you felt incredibly proud of an accomplishment. Have a memory of a time you felt completely at peace, perhaps sitting by the ocean or in a quiet forest. When you need to shift your resonance, open your vault. Pick a memory. Close your eyes and step back into it. See what you saw. Hear what you heard. Smell what you smelled. Most importantly, feel what you felt. Relive the experience with all of your senses. As you do, your body will begin to secrete the corresponding chemicals, the hormones of love, joy, or peace. You are literally changing your chemistry and your vibration on command by using the power of your own past. A third powerful technique is to use music as a tuning fork. Music is organized, vibrating energy. It bypasses the conscious mind and directly influences our emotional and physiological state. A fast, upbeat song can energize us. A slow, gentle piece of classical music can calm our nervous system. A powerful, anthemic song can make us feel courageous and inspired. I want you to become a conscious curator of your own sonic environment. Create playlists on your phone specifically designed to evoke certain emotional states. Have a peaceful playlist with calming ambient or classical music for when you feel stressed. Have a joy playlist with upbeat, happy songs that make you want to dance for when you feel down. Have a power playlist with music that makes you feel strong and confident for before a big meeting or a difficult conversation. When you need a resonance shift, do not just put on the radio. Intentionally choose the frequency you want to tune into and let the music do the work. Let it wash over you and literally retune your cells. Finally, you can actively create a high vibration environment. Everything in your world has a vibration. The cluttered, messy room has a low, chaotic vibration. The clean, organized, light-filled room has a high, coherent vibration. The constant drone of negative news has a low, fearful vibration. An inspiring podcast or an uplifting book has a high, expansive vibration. The people you spend time with are the most powerful vibrational influences in your life. Take a look around your life. Who and what are you allowing into your energetic field? Does your home feel like a sanctuary or a stress pit? Does your social media feed lift you up or drag you down? Does your circle of friends support your growth or keep you stuck in old patterns? Start making small, conscious choices. Clean one corner of your room, unfollow the negative account. Choose to have coffee with the inspiring friend instead of the complaining one. Every choice you make either raises or lowers your baseline frequency. By curating your environment, you make it easier to hold the note you want to sing. Living by the law of the echo is the ultimate act of personal responsibility. It is the realization that your life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. This is not a cause for blame, but a cause for empowerment. If your life is an echo of your past vibrational habits, it means you have the power to create a new future by creating a new vibration today. You are the artist and your feeling is the paintbrush. You are the musician and your emotion is the instrument. Do not fight the old echo. It is just old news, a reflection of a song you are no longer singing. Turn your attention inward. Tend to the garden of your heart. Practice generating the feelings of joy, love, and peace, not because you are faking it until you make it, but because you are remembering that these states are your natural birthright. They are the true note of your soul. Sing that note consistently and courageously, and then listen. The echo that comes back will be more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. Chapter 3. The Law of the River. We have learned that we are a seed of potential, and that our vibration is the signal that calls forth what we need to grow. Now we arrive at the third forgotten law, the one that governs the movement of all energy, opportunity, and abundance in our lives. This is the law of the river, or the law of circulation. It is a principle of elegant and profound simplicity. All good things in the universe must flow. Energy, like a river, is meant to be in constant motion. To receive, you must give. To get, you must let go. A river that flows is full of life. It is clear, fresh, and powerful. It supports lush banks, thriving fish, and countless other creatures. A river that is dammed up and stops flowing becomes a stagnant, smelly swamp. Its water putrefies. It breeds disease and decay. It no longer supports life. In your own life, you must ask yourself a vital question. Am I a river or am I a swamp? Are you allowing the universal energies of wealth, love, and opportunity to flow through you? Or are you hoarding what you have in fear, building a dam that creates stagnation and decay in your own experience? This law is the antidote to the great disease of the modern world, the scarcity mindset. We are raised in a culture that is terrified of not enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough love, not enough success. We are taught that life is a zero-sum game, a competition for limited resources. We believe there is a finite pie of good things, and if someone else gets a big slice, that means there is less for us. This belief, this fear of lack, causes us to act like desperate swamp builders. We hoard our money, pinching every penny, terrified of letting it go. We hoard our knowledge, afraid that if we share our best ideas, someone else will steal them and get ahead of us. We hoard our love, afraid to be vulnerable, and express our true feelings in case we get hurt or rejected. We even hoard our time and energy, saying no to everything, trying to preserve our dwindling resources. We build our dams of fear, brick by painful brick, and then we stand in our own self-created swamp, covered in muck, and wonder why our lives feel so stagnant, so lifeless, and so devoid of abundance. We have cut ourselves off from the universal flow. The irony is that the very act of hoarding, which is born from the fear of lack, is the thing that creates the experience of lack. By building a dam, you stop the river not only from flowing out, but also from flowing in. The universe is a system of perfect circulation. It is always trying to give to you. It is trying to send you new ideas, new opportunities, new relationships, new sources of income. But it cannot deliver these gifts to a swamp. It cannot place anything in a clenched fist. You must open your hand. You must be willing to let go of what you have in order to make space for what is coming. The act of giving is an act of supreme faith. It is a declaration to the universe that you trust the river. It is a statement that you believe you are not a limited puddle, but an integral part of an infinite flowing source. When you give freely and joyfully, you are dismantling your dam brick by brick. You are telling the universe, I am open, I am a channel, I am ready to receive. And the river begins to flow again. Look to the natural world, the greatest teacher of universal law. A mighty rainforest is a perfect model of the law of circulation. It is one of the most abundant and life-filled ecosystems on the planet. Does a giant kapok tree hoard its resources? No. It draws water and nutrients from the soil, but it also provides shade and shelter for countless smaller plants and animals. Its leaves fall to the forest floor, where they decompose and become new, rich soil, feeding the very system that feeds it. The flowers it produces offer nectar to birds and insects, who in turn pollinate the tree, ensuring its future. When the tree eventually dies, its massive trunk becomes a nurse log, providing nutrients and a home for a new generation of saplings, fungi, and insects. In a healthy ecosystem, there is no hoarding. There is no concept of waste. The output of one part of the system is the input for another. Everything is in a constant, dynamic, life-giving state of circulation. It is a dance of giving and receiving. This is the model for a truly abundant life. Our own bodies are another flawless example of this law. Your physical existence is entirely dependent on the principle of circulation. Your heart pumps blood through 60,000 miles of arteries, veins, and capillaries. It delivers life-giving oxygen and nutrients to every single one of your trillions of cells. At the same time, it picks up carbon dioxide and other waste products to be removed from the system. What would happen if your heart decided to hoard the blood? What if it said, "This is good, oxygenated blood. I'm going to keep it all for myself, right here in the left ventricle"? You would die in minutes. The system would collapse. The health of your entire body depends on the heart's willingness to constantly let go of what it has in order to receive the next pulse. The same is true for your breath. You cannot hoard a breath. Try it. Take a deep breath in and hold it, trying to keep all that good oxygen for yourself. You immediately feel discomfort, then panic. Your body instinctively knows that to receive the next life-giving breath, you must first let go of the old one. The act of exhaling, of giving your carbon dioxide back to the plants, is what creates the space to receive the fresh oxygen. Inhaling is receiving, exhaling is giving. Both are essential for life. A life of abundance requires you to be as good at exhaling as you are at inhaling. Let us even look at the world of economics, which seems so far removed from spirituality. A healthy economy depends on something called the velocity of money. This measures how quickly money is circulating, how many times a single dollar is spent and re-spent over a period of time. Imagine a small town with 100 people and only $1,000 in total. If everyone hoards their $10 under their mattress, the total economic activity is just $1,000. The town is poor and stagnant. But if one person spends their $10 at the bakery, and the baker then spends that $10 at the butcher, and the butcher spends it at the farmer, and the farmer spends it at the hardware store, that one $10 bill has now generated $40 of economic activity. The money is flowing. The town feels prosperous. The velocity is high. Your personal financial life is a microeconomy. When you hoard your money out of fear, you are lowering its velocity to zero. You are creating a personal recession. When you allow your money to flow, paying your bills with gratitude, spending it on things that bring you joy or value, tipping generously, donating to a cause you believe in, you are increasing its velocity. You are participating in the flow of abundance, and this makes you a more attractive channel for more abundance to flow through. The root of all this blockage is psychological. It is the deep-seated battle between the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset is the default programming for most of us. It is the voice of our primitive reptilian brain, which was designed for survival in a world of genuine scarcity. For our ancestors, a missed meal could mean death. Hoarding food was a good survival strategy. The problem is that we are still running this ancient software in a world of potential abundance. The scarcity mindset believes that resources are limited and life is a competition. It sees other people's success as a threat. It fosters jealousy, envy, and a feeling of being a victim. It is constantly calculating what's in it for me. It is the clenched fist. It operates from a place of fear. The abundance mindset, on the other hand, is the mindset of the river. It is a conscious choice to believe that the universe is infinitely generous and creative. It understands that there is more than enough for everyone. It sees life as a collaborative, creative enterprise. The success of others is not a threat, but an inspiration, proof of what is possible. It celebrates the good fortune of others, knowing that the same universal source is available to all. It operates from a place of trust and love. It asks, how can I contribute? How can I serve? It is the open hand. To become a river, you must consciously work to uninstall the scarcity software and install the abundance software. This begins with awareness. Start noticing the voice of scarcity in your daily thoughts. When your friend tells you about their amazing new promotion, what is your first gut reaction? Is it a genuine, "That's fantastic, I'm so happy for you," which is the voice of abundance? Or is it a sinking feeling in your stomach, a flicker of jealousy, and a thought like, "Why does everything good happen to them and not to me?" which is the voice of scarcity? When you go to pay for your groceries, do you feel a pang of anxiety as you hand over your money, a feeling of, "I'm losing something," which is scarcity? Or do you feel a sense of gratitude for the food you can buy and for the people who grew it and sold it to you, knowing that money is just energy in motion, which is abundance? Do not judge yourself for having scarcity thoughts. They are deeply programmed. Just notice them, label them. That is the scarcity mindset talking. Then, consciously, choose a different thought. I celebrate my friend's success. It shows me what is possible. There is enough success for everyone, including me. You are retraining your brain, one thought at a time. It is also crucial to understand that the law of circulation applies to far more than just money. The universe has many currencies, and they all must flow. One of the most important currencies is love. Many of us hoard our love. We are afraid to say, "I love you." We are afraid to express appreciation and affection. We wait for the other person to go first. We keep a silent tally. They didn't call me, so I'm not going to call them. We build a dam around our heart to protect it from being hurt. But in doing so, we turn our heart into a stagnant swamp. It becomes cold and lonely. To have a heart full of love, you must give love away, freely, lavishly, without expecting anything in return. Compliment a stranger. Write a heartfelt letter to a friend. Tell your family members how much they mean to you. Forgive someone who has hurt you, not for them, but for you, to dismantle the dam of resentment. When you become a fountain of love, you will be amazed at how much love flows back into your life from the most unexpected sources. Knowledge is another currency that must circulate. In the old industrial age model of success, knowledge was power, and you hoarded it. You kept your trade secrets close to your chest. In today's interconnected world, that model is obsolete. The most successful and influential people are the ones who share their knowledge generously. They teach, they write, they create content, they mentor others. Does sharing what they know diminish them? No, it enhances them. It establishes them as an authority. It builds trust and community. And most importantly, it opens them up to receive new ideas and insights. When you teach something, you learn it on a deeper level. When you empty your cup of knowledge by pouring it out for others, you create space for the universe to refill it with something even greater. What are you an expert in? What skill or insight do you have that could help someone else? Share it. Start a blog. Answer a question online. Mentor a younger colleague. Let your knowledge flow. Even currencies like time and energy are subject to this law. The scarcity mindset says, I'm so busy, I'm so tired, I have no time or energy to spare. So we hoard our time, jealously guarding our evenings and weekends, often spending them in low-energy activities like mindless scrolling just to recharge. But often, the most energizing thing you can do is to give your energy away to something you care about. Volunteering for a cause you believe in for 2 hours on a Saturday can fill you with more life force and purpose than 10 hours of watching television. Spending quality, focused time helping a friend in need can create a bond of connection that nourishes your soul for weeks. It is a paradox. The more you give of your purposeful energy, the more you seem to have. So how do we begin this transformation from a swamp to a river? How do we start to dismantle the dam of fear? It begins with small, conscious acts of circulation. You must prime the pump. You must be the one to start the flow, even if it feels scary at first. Our first practical exercise is called priming the pump, and it is based on a simple but powerful principle. Give what you most want to receive. This is a radical act that short-circuits the scarcity mindset. If you want more money in your life, you must be willing to give some money away. This does not mean being reckless. It means starting small. The next time you see a homeless person, give them $1. And as you do, silently say to the universe, I acknowledge that I am part of an abundant flow. I release this with joy, trusting that more will come. The next time you are at a cafe, leave a surprisingly generous tip for the server. Feel the expansive, joyful feeling of being a source of abundance for someone else. This act, no matter how small, sends a powerful vibrational message. It declares that you believe in circulation, not hoarding. It aligns you with the frequency of the river. If you want more appreciation in your life, start giving it away. Make it a goal to give 3 genuine, specific compliments to 3 different people every day. Appreciate the mail carrier, the checkout clerk, your spouse. By doing so, you become an appreciation magnet. A wonderful way to practice this is with the 5-minute favor. This is the conscious decision to do a small favor for someone that takes less than 5 minutes and to expect absolutely nothing in return. It could be as simple as making an introduction between 2 people who could benefit from knowing each other. It could be sending a link to an article to a friend who you know would find it interesting. It could be offering to carry someone's groceries. These small, selfless acts are like breaking tiny cracks in your dam. They start to get the water moving. They train you to think in terms of contribution rather than consumption. Now, we must address the other side of the dam. It is not just our giving that is blocked. For many of us, our receiving is blocked as well. We are terrible at it. This is the second crucial practice, the art of gracious receiving. When someone gives you a compliment, what is your typical response? Do you deflect it? Oh, this old thing, I got it on sale. Do you minimize it? Oh, it was nothing. Do you feel an immediate, awkward need to give a compliment right back? All of these are ways of blocking the gift. You're essentially throwing the energy right back at the person. A compliment is a gift of positive energy. To live in the flow, you must learn to receive it. The next time someone compliments you, I want you to try a radical experiment. Take a breath, look the person in the eye, smile, and say simply and genuinely, "Thank you." That is it. Just let the gift land. Feel the warmth of it. Absorb the energy. You will be amazed at how difficult this is at first, and also at how good it feels when you finally allow yourself to do it. Practice this with all forms of receiving. If a friend offers to buy you a coffee, say, "Thank you, I'd love that," instead of, "Oh no, you don't have to do that." If someone offers to help you with a heavy bag, accept the help graciously. We have been conditioned to believe that being needy is a weakness. But in the ecosystem of the universe, everything is interdependent. The tree needs the soil. The flower needs the bee. Allowing others to give to you is a gift to them. It allows them to experience the joy of circulation. To explore your own blocks to receiving, take out your journal. Ask yourself, what messages did I receive in childhood about asking for help or receiving gifts? Do I feel worthy of receiving good things in my life? If not, where did that belief come from? Uncovering these old programs is the first step to reprogramming your ability to receive. A third, very tangible way to practice the law of the river is to declutter your life. Your physical possessions hold energy. When your home is filled with things you do not use, love, or need, that is a massive amount of stagnant energy. All that clutter is a physical representation of a dam. The act of decluttering is a powerful act of circulation. Go through your closet. Every item of clothing that you have not worn in a year is a piece of stagnant energy. Give it away. Donate it to someone who will use and appreciate it. This releases the energy and sends a signal to the universe that you have space for new things to come into your life. Go through your bookshelves. The books you have read and will not read again can be a gift to someone else. Release them. Go through your kitchen cabinets, your garage, your junk drawer. With every item you release, you are saying, "I trust the flow. I am making space for the new." This is not just about cleaning your house. It is about clearing your energy field. A clean, clear space invites a clean, clear flow of energy. Finally, you can formalize your commitment to this law by practicing a circulation tithe. The word tithe has religious connotations, but here we use it in a purely spiritual, energetic sense. It is the conscious practice of giving away a set percentage of what you receive. Traditionally, this is 10% of your income, but you can start with any amount you feel comfortable with, even just 1%. The act of automatically setting aside a portion of your income to give away, whether to a charity, a spiritual organization, a creative project, or a person in need, fundamentally rewires your brain from scarcity to abundance. It is a consistent, disciplined act of faith. It trains you to see yourself not as the owner of your money, but as its steward, a channel through which it flows to do good in the world. You can also apply this to other currencies. Tithe 10% of your free time to volunteering. Tithe 10% of your praise to others. This regular conscious practice of giving keeps your channel open, clear, and active, making you a powerful magnet for abundance in all its forms. Living by the law of the river is a choice to trust life. It is a release of the fearful, white-knuckled grip of control. It is the understanding that you are not a separate, isolated pond that can run dry. You are a part of the infinite, ever-flowing ocean of universal energy. Your job is not to accumulate and hoard, but to participate in the magnificent dance of circulation. Give freely, receive graciously, and let go of all that is stagnant. Become a river. Let the current of universal abundance flow through you, and you will find that your own life becomes fresh, clear, powerful, and teeming with more life than you ever thought possible. Chapter 4. The Law of the Mirror. We have embarked on a profound journey together. We first discovered the law of the seed, the truth that our greatest potential is already encoded within us. Then we explored the law of the echo, understanding that our emotional vibration is the signal that calls forth our reality. We followed this with the law of the river, learning that we must allow energy to flow through us by giving and receiving freely. Now we arrive at what may be the most challenging, the most confronting, and ultimately the most liberating law of all. This is the law of the mirror. The law is breathtakingly simple to state, yet it takes a lifetime of courage to truly live. The law is this: your outer world is nothing more and nothing less than a perfect reflection of your inner world. Every single person who enters your life, every situation you encounter, and especially every single thing that triggers an intense emotional reaction in you, is a messenger. These people and events are not there to punish you or to harm you. They are mirrors, held up by the universe to show you what is unhealed, unacknowledged, or unresolved within yourself. Life is not happening to you, it is reflecting you. I want you to pause and take a deep breath, because I know the immediate resistance that this idea can create. The ego, that part of us that wants to be right and to see itself as a victim of circumstance, immediately screams, "No, that is not true. That rude driver who cut me off this morning, that was his fault, not mine. My critical boss, she is the problem. I am just trying to do my job. The partner who betrayed my trust, that was their action, their flaw, not a reflection of me." This resistance is normal. It is human. This law asks us to take 100% responsibility for our experience of life, and that is a terrifying prospect. It means there is no one left to blame. There are no more villains in your story. There is only you and your reflection. But I ask you to stay with me, to open your mind just a little, because on the other side of this resistance lies a power so immense it can change everything. As long as you believe the problem is out there, you are powerless. You have to wait for the world to change, for other people to change, before you can feel peace. But if you are willing to entertain the possibility that the problem, and therefore the solution, lies within you, you reclaim all of your power. You become the sole creative force in your own life. Imagine you are standing in front of a mirror. You see your reflection, and you notice that your reflection has a smudge of dirt on its cheek. What do? Do you get angry at the mirror? Do you try to scrub the smudge off the surface of the glass? Do you yell at the mirror, demanding that it change? Of course not. That would be insane. You understand instinctively that the mirror is simply showing you what is. The smudge is not on the mirror. The smudge is on you. The only way to change the reflection is to reach up and gently wipe the dirt from your own face. The moment you do, the reflection changes instantly and perfectly. You are the person standing before the glass. The world in its entirety is your mirror. The smudges, the wrinkles, the parts of the reflection you do not like are simply showing you where you need to do your own inner work. Trying to change the world without first changing yourself is like trying to scrub the reflection. It is an exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately futile exercise. Let us explore the mechanics of how this cosmic mirror actually works. It connects directly back to the law of the echo and the power of your subconscious mind. As we discussed, your conscious mind is just the tip of the iceberg. The vast, submerged portion is your subconscious. This is where you store every belief, every experience, and every emotion you have ever had, especially those from your formative early years. This subconscious mind is like a giant, powerful film projector. It is loaded with a very old film, a film made of your core beliefs about yourself and the world. Beliefs like, I am not worthy of love. The world is a dangerous place. I must work hard to be accepted. People will always let me down, or I am not smart enough. We are often not even consciously aware that these beliefs are running. They are the background operating system of our lives. This subconscious projector is always on, casting its film onto the screen of your life. And your vibrational frequency, as we learned in Chapter 2, is the light that powers the projector. The universe, in its impersonal and flawless way, then arranges people and circumstances to perfectly match the images on that film. It brings you experiences that will validate your subconscious beliefs. If you have a deep, hidden belief that you are not worthy of love, the mirror of the universe will bring you partners who are emotionally unavailable, critical, or who abandon you. These partners are not bad people. They are simply actors, playing a role in your movie, a movie you wrote the script for long ago. Their behavior is the reflection of the I am not worthy smudge on your own face. Their presence in your life is a gift. It is the universe lovingly tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, look at this belief you are holding about yourself. It is causing you pain. Are you ready to heal it now? The trigger is the curriculum. The person who triggers you is your teacher. This concept was articulated beautifully by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who gave us the idea of the shadow self. The shadow is not the evil part of you. It is simply the disowned part of you. It is all the aspects of yourself that you were taught were unacceptable. As children, we learn very quickly what parts of us will be met with approval and what parts will be met with disapproval, punishment, or withdrawal of love. Perhaps you are a loud, boisterous child, and you were constantly told to be quiet or settle down. So you learn to suppress your exuberant, powerful energy. That energy did not go away. It just went into the shadow. Perhaps you expressed anger, and you were shamed for it. So your anger went into the shadow. Perhaps you were needy and wanted affection, and you were told you were being a crybaby. So your vulnerability went into the shadow. We all have a shadow self, a bag full of disowned parts that we carry around. And because we cannot see what is in our own bag, we see it everywhere else. This is the psychological mechanism of projection. We project our disowned shadow parts onto other people. We see our own unacknowledged anger in the angry boss. We see our own disowned neediness in the clingy friend. We see our own suppressed power in the arrogant celebrity. The people who irritate us, infuriate us, or disgust us the most are often perfect mirrors of our own shadow self. The intense emotional charge we feel is the clue. That intense energy is the sound of one of our disowned parts rattling the cage, begging to be seen and integrated. Let's walk through some very common examples to make this crystal clear. Let's say you are constantly annoyed by your coworker, who you perceive as being incredibly lazy. He does the bare minimum. He takes long breaks. He never volunteers for extra work. Every time you see him slacking off while you are working hard, you feel a surge of resentment and judgment. You think, he is so lazy, I can't stand it. Now, according to the law of the mirror, his laziness is a reflection of something within you. The immediate reaction is, no, I am the hardest worker in the office. I am the opposite of lazy. And that is precisely the point. You have likely disowned your own need for rest. You have put your lazy part into your shadow. You probably have a deep belief that your worth comes from your productivity. You do not allow yourself to rest, to take long breaks, or to do the bare minimum even when you are exhausted. So when you see your co-worker freely embodying the very quality you deny yourself, it triggers you. He is mirroring your own suppressed desire for rest. The universe is using him to ask you, where do you need to allow yourself to be a little more lazy? Where are you driving yourself to exhaustion out of a fear of not being worthy? The mirror is not telling you to become a slacker. It is inviting you to find balance, to integrate the part of you that knows how to rest. Let's take another one. Imagine you're intensely triggered by people you perceive as arrogant or attention-seeking. You see someone on social media confidently promoting their work, or you meet someone at a party who talks animatedly about their accomplishments, and you feel a wave of distaste. You think, they are so full of themselves, who do they think they are? This is a classic shadow projection. It is highly likely that you have disowned your own power, your own confidence, and your own light. You were probably taught as a child that it is not polite to brag, that you should be humble, that you should not take up too much space. So you learned to play small. You dimmed your own light so as not to make others uncomfortable. That powerful, confident, self-promoting part of you went into the shadow. Now, when you see someone else living it out loud, it feels threatening and distasteful to your conditioned ego. They are mirroring your own suppressed greatness. The universe is using them to say, look at this magnificent, confident energy. A part of you has this too. Are you ready to stop hiding? Are you ready to own your power and let your light shine? The invitation is to reclaim your own healthy sense of pride and self-worth. Let's do one more, a very common one in relationships. You find yourself with a partner who is emotionally distant and unavailable. You crave connection, but they seem to be behind a wall. You feel hurt, rejected, and unloved. You blame them for their inability to be vulnerable. This is a painful mirror, but a powerful one. Look inward. Where are you emotionally unavailable to yourself? Do you ignore your own feelings? Do you push through sadness instead of allowing yourself to feel it? Do you distract yourself with work or entertainment to avoid being present with your own inner world? The partner who is emotionally unavailable to you is often a perfect reflection of how you are emotionally unavailable to yourself. Furthermore, look at the belief this situation is confirming. It is likely triggering a core wound of I am not worthy of love, or I will always be abandoned. The partner is just the actor playing the role that makes this deep wound visible. The healing is not in trying to force them to change. The healing is in turning inward and learning to give yourself the emotional presence and validation you are seeking from them. It is about healing the original wound of unworthiness. When you do that, one of two things will happen. The person in the mirror will either shift their behavior to reflect your new inner state, or they will peacefully exit your life, making space for a new reflection that matches your newfound self-love. Now, we must address the most difficult and sensitive aspect of this law. What about situations of genuine harm, abuse, or injustice? Is the universe telling me that it is my fault if I am in an abusive relationship? Is the child who is harmed responsible for their abuser? This is a crucial point, and we must approach it with immense compassion and care. The law of the mirror is never, ever about blame. Blame is a low-vibration concept of the ego. The universe operates on reflection, not blame. In situations of abuse, the mirror is not reflecting that you are an abuser. It is often reflecting a deep, pre-existing, and often subconscious wound of unworthiness or powerlessness. A person who has a core belief that they are worthless, or that they do not deserve to be treated with respect, may unconsciously attract or tolerate situations that validate this belief. The abuser is the harsh mirror reflecting back that deeply painful inner state. The purpose of the mirror is not to say, you deserve this. The purpose is to make the inner wound so painfully visible that it can finally be healed. The invitation from the universe is to see the reflection and say, this is not who I am. I am worthy of love and respect. The healing path is about reclaiming one's power, learning to set powerful boundaries, and doing the deep inner work to heal the wound of unworthiness. It transforms the person from a victim of circumstance into a powerful survivor who has reclaimed their sovereign self. The law is not an excuse for the abuser's behavior. Their actions are their own, and they are standing in front of their own mirror. The law is a tool for the person being harmed to reclaim their power and break the cycle. Similarly, when we look at large-scale global tragedies like wars, famine, or environmental destruction, this is the collective mirror at work. These events are a reflection of humanity's collective shadow. The violence we see in the world is a mirror of the unhealed anger, greed, and fear that exists within the collective human consciousness. It is the projection of our collective belief in separation, scarcity, and powerlessness. Does this mean you are personally to blame for a war? No. It means that the war is a reflection of a shadow that you, as a part of humanity, share. And this is where your power lies. You cannot single-handedly stop a war, but you can stop the war inside yourself. You can do the inner work to heal your own anger. You can practice compassion. You can choose love over fear in your own daily life. By healing your own corner of the collective consciousness, you contribute to the healing of the whole. Every time one person withdraws their projections and heals their own shadow, the reflection in the collective mirror gets a little bit brighter. This is how we change the world, not by fighting the shadows out there, but by illuminating them within. So, how do we practically begin to work with this powerful, life-altering law? We must become spiritual detectives, looking for clues in our own emotional reactions. The stronger the trigger, the bigger the treasure of self-knowledge is buried beneath it. Our first and most important tool is a guided practice I call the 4 steps of the mirror. The next time you feel that powerful emotional trigger, whether it is anger at your spouse, jealousy of a friend, or irritation at a stranger, I want you to find a quiet moment as soon as you can. Take out your journal. This is sacred work. Step 1. Identify the reflection. Write down exactly what happened and who was involved. Be specific. My sister criticized my parenting choices in front of our mother. Then identify the precise emotion this triggered in you. Do not just say, "I was upset." Go deeper. Was it anger, shame, humiliation, fear, inadequacy? Write it down. I felt a hot surge of shame and anger. Step 2. Identify the judgment. What is the story you're telling yourself about the other person? What are you judging them for? Write it down in a clear sentence. My judgment is that my sister is controlling, judgmental, and thinks she knows everything. Be as blunt and honest as you can. This is your private space. Do not censor yourself. Step 3. Turn the mirror. This is the pivotal step. You are now going to take your judgment of the other person and turn it into a series of questions for yourself. You will look for the reflection in 3 different places: how you do this to yourself, how you do this to others, and what you're afraid of. Using our example, the first question is, where am I controlling and judgmental towards myself? Do I have an inner critic that constantly tells me I am doing things wrong? Do I judge my every move as a parent, believing I should be perfect? This is often the most direct reflection. The outer critic is simply giving voice to your own inner critic. The second question is, where am I controlling and judgmental towards others, perhaps in a way I am not admitting to myself? Do I sometimes offer unsolicited advice to my friends? Do I secretly judge the choices of others, even if I do not say it out loud? This helps us see our own hypocrisy, the parts of the shadow we project because we do not want to own them. The third, and often most profound question is, what is the positive aspect of this trait that I am afraid to own in myself? What could be the positive side of being controlling and judgmental? Perhaps it is about having high standards, being discerning, or having strong leadership qualities. The question then becomes, where in my life do I need to embrace my own healthy discernment and leadership instead of being afraid of being seen as bossy or controlling? This can reveal a disowned power that is waiting to be integrated. Step 4. Integrate the messenger. The final step is to feel gratitude for the person who triggered you. This can feel impossible at first, but it is essential. They have delivered a priceless message to you. They have shown you exactly where you are not free. They have given you a key to your own liberation. In your journal, write, "I am grateful to my sister for showing me where I am still holding on to self-judgment and a fear of my own leadership. She is a messenger for my healing." This act of gratitude dissolves the negative energetic charge and transforms the entire interaction from a painful attack into a sacred lesson. Working with the mirror is like building a muscle. It will feel difficult and unnatural at first. Your ego will fight you every step of the way. But with practice, it becomes second nature. This leads us to our second practical exercise, which is a daily practice called flipping the judgment. Every day, for the next week, I want you to commit to catching just one judgment you make about another person. It could be someone you know, or a public figure, or a stranger on the street. As soon as you catch the judgment, that person is so loud, or that politician is so corrupt, or that parent is so permissive, I want you to stop. Take out a small notebook or use a note on your phone. Write down the judgment. Then flip it. Ask yourself, where am I being loud, or where do I need to be louder and express myself more? Where am I being corrupt in my own life, perhaps by not being totally honest with myself or others? Where am I being too permissive with myself, letting my own boundaries slide? This simple daily practice trains your mind to stop looking outward for blame and to start looking inward for wisdom. It shifts you from a state of being a critic of the world to being a curious student of yourself. Finally, a powerful ritual for integrating these shadow parts once you have identified them is the welcoming home visualization. Once you have used the mirror to identify a disowned part of yourself, like your anger, your neediness, or your power, you can formally welcome it back. Find a quiet space, close your eyes. Imagine yourself sitting in a warm, safe, beautiful room in your heart. Then, imagine the disowned part of you standing at the door. It might look like a small, angry child, or a sad, lonely teenager, or a powerful, intimidating figure. See it clearly. Notice that it just wants to be seen and loved. In your mind's eye, open the door. Kneel down and say to this part of you, "I see you. I am sorry I pushed you away for so long. I was afraid. But I see now that you are a part of me, and you have a gift for me. Welcome home." Imagine giving this part of yourself a hug and bringing it into the warm room of your heart. Feel the sense of wholeness and relief as you stop fighting a part of yourself. This act of inner compassion is the ultimate healing. You are wiping the smudge from your own face with love. The law of the mirror is your path to true freedom. It dissolves victimhood. It ends the blame game. It transforms every frustrating and painful moment of your life into an opportunity for profound growth and self-realization. It is a challenging path, for it demands radical honesty and a willingness to look at the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. But it is the most direct path home to your true, whole, and integrated self. The world is not your enemy. It is your most devoted and honest teacher, constantly showing you the path to your own liberation. You have the courage to look into the mirror. You have the power to heal what you see. And when you do, the entire world will transform before your very eyes, not because it changed, but because you did. Chapter 5. The Law of the Tide. In our journey so far, we have unearthed powerful truths about our inner world. We have learned that we are a seed of potential, that our vibration shapes our reality, that we must live in a state of flow, and that the world is our mirror. Now, we must turn our attention to the rhythm and timing of our lives. We must learn the fourth forgotten law, a law that nature displays in its magnificent glory every single day, but which our modern culture has taught us to ignore at our own peril. This is the law of the tide, also known as the law of rhythm and cycles. The law is this: all of life, without exception, operates in cycles. There is a time for action and a time for rest, a time for growth and a time for decay, a time for expansion and a time for contraction, a time to be loud and a time to be silent. To push for constant linear upward growth is to fight against the fundamental current of the universe. This fight is the source of the epidemic of our age: burnout, exhaustion, and a deep, soul-crushing weariness. To find peace and sustainable success, you must learn to honor the tides of your own life. You must learn to surrender to the rhythm. You must learn when to ride the wave and when to simply float. Think about the ocean tide, from which this law takes its name. For 6 hours, the tide flows in, relentlessly, powerfully, covering the beach, filling the estuaries. This is the high tide, a time of fullness and expansion. But it does not stay there. It cannot. After a brief pause, it begins to recede. For the next 6 hours, it flows out, exposing the sand, revealing the tide pools. This is the low tide, a time of emptiness and contraction. Does the ocean feel like a failure during low tide? Does it berate itself for not being at a constant state of high tide? Does it see the act of receding as a weakness? Of course not. It understands that the low tide is just as essential, just as holy as the high tide. The low tide is a necessary part of the cycle. It allows the shorebirds to feed. It cleanses the beach. It is a time of rest and preparation for the next powerful influx of water. The high tide and the low tide are not opposites. They are partners in a sacred, eternal dance. Our modern world has declared war on this natural rhythm. We have created a culture that worships the high tide. We celebrate constant action, relentless productivity, and perpetual growth. We call it the hustle, and we wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. Our phones keep us connected and on 24 hours a day. Our cities are lit all night, denying us the natural cycle of darkness. We drink caffeine to push through our afternoon slumps and take pills to force ourselves to sleep. We see rest as laziness. We see periods of slowness or confusion as failure. We see sadness or grief as a problem to be medicated away as quickly as possible. We expect our careers, our income, our happiness, and even our spiritual growth to follow a constantly upward moving line on a graph. We are trying to live in a state of perpetual high tide, and we are drowning in the effort. The anxiety, the depression, the autoimmune diseases, the widespread sense of disconnection. These are the symptoms of a culture that is profoundly out of sync with the natural law of rhythm. You are not a machine. You are a part of nature, and nature operates in cycles. To deny this is to deny your very essence. Let us look at the most obvious cycle that governs our lives, the cycle of the seasons. Nature does not demand that a cherry tree produce blossoms in the middle of winter. It understands that winter is a crucial time of dormancy. From the outside, the tree looks dead. It is bare, it is still, it is silent. But on the inside, deep within its roots, it is gathering its energy. It is resting. It is preparing for the miracle of spring. This period of rest is not optional. It is essential. Without the cold and dormancy of winter, the blossoms of spring would not be possible. Then comes spring, a time of rebirth and new beginnings. The energy surges, the buds appear. Tender green shoots push up through the soil. It is a time of excitement and potential, but the growth is still fragile. It needs care. After spring comes the fullness of summer. The sun is at its peak. The tree is in full leaf. The growth is strong and vibrant. This is the season of peak action, of doing, of being out in the world. It is the high tide of the year. But it does not last forever. Autumn follows, the season of harvest and release. The tree offers its fruit. it celebrates the abundance it has created. And then it begins to let go. It releases its leaves one by one, without a fight. It understands that it must let go of the old to prepare for the necessary rest of a new winter. Your life follows these same seasons. You will have winters in your life. These are periods of loss, of endings, of confusion, or of deep rest. It might be the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, a period of illness, or a time when you feel creatively barren and lost. Our culture teaches us to fear and resist these winters. We try to snap out of it, to get busy, to pretend we are fine. But the law of the tide teaches us to honor our winters. It is a time to go inward, to rest, to grieve, to journal, to dream. It is a time for the deep, quiet work of the soul. If you allow yourself the grace of your winter, you are gathering the strength for a magnificent spring. Your spring seasons are the times of new ideas, new projects, new relationships. You feel the surge of fresh energy and excitement. It is a time to plant the seeds you discovered in your wintry introspection. Then your summer seasons arrive when your projects are in full swing, your career is thriving, your social life is full. You are in a state of peak doing. And you will have autumns when you complete a major project, when your children leave home, when you reap the rewards of your hard work. It is a time to celebrate your harvest, but also to begin the process of letting go, of clearing space for what is next. To fight this cycle is to create immense suffering. To try to live in a perpetual summer is to guarantee burnout. To resist the letting go of autumn is to cling to the past. To fear the silence of winter is to miss its deep medicine. The wise person does not wish for summer in the midst of winter. They learn to find the unique beauty and purpose of every season of their life. This law of cycles is also mirrored in the sky above us every month through the phases of the moon. The new moon is a time of darkness, like a mini winter. It is a time for introspection, for setting quiet intentions, for planting seeds in the fertile dark. As the moon waxes and grows brighter, our energy builds with it. The waxing moon is the springtime of the month, a time to take the first actions on our new moon intentions, to build momentum. The full moon is the peak, the summer of the month. It is a time of high energy, of celebration, of illumination. Our projects come to fruition, things are revealed. It is a time to be seen. Then, as the moon begins to wane, our energy naturally begins to recede with it. The waning moon is the autumn of the month, a time to release, to declutter, to let go of what is no longer serving us, to give thanks for what has been accomplished. Resisting this monthly rhythm is a source of great frustration. To try to launch a major new project during the waning moon is to swim against the current. To try to force yourself to be social and on during the new moon is to ignore your body's natural call for quiet. Learning to align your activities with the lunar cycle is a powerful way to work with the tide, not against it. Let's bring this down from the cosmic to the personal, right into your own body. You are governed by a beautiful and precise set of biological rhythms. The most well-known is your circadian rhythm. This is your internal 24-hour body clock, located in a part of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This master clock regulates your sleep-wake cycle, your hormone release, your body temperature, and your metabolism. In the morning, in response to light, it triggers a release of the hormone cortisol, which wakes you up and makes you feel alert. As the day goes on and darkness falls, it triggers the release of the hormone melatonin, which makes you feel sleepy. This is a delicate and ancient system, and we wreak havoc on it every day. When we stare at the bright blue light of our phones and laptops late at night, we are sending a signal to our brain that it is still midday. This suppresses melatonin production and makes it difficult to fall asleep and get deep restorative rest. When we use jarring alarm clocks to force ourselves awake when our body is still in a deep sleep phase, we disrupt our natural cortisol curve. This constant disruption of our circadian rhythm is not a small thing. Scientists have linked it to a host of health problems, including obesity, diabetes, depression, and a weakened immune system. Honoring the law of the tide means honoring your own biological need for the cycle of light and dark, waking and sleeping. It is one of the most fundamental acts of self-care. There is another, more subtle rhythm at play all day long called the ultradian rhythm. Your brain can only maintain a state of high focus for about 90 to 120 minutes at a time. After that, it needs a break. It needs to enter a down cycle of about 20 minutes to rest, process information, and recharge. We have all felt this. You are working hard on a task and you are in the zone, and then suddenly you hit a wall. You feel fidgety, you get distracted, you start checking your email. This is not a sign of weakness or a lack of discipline. It is your brain's natural ultradian rhythm signaling that it is time for a break. What do most of us do? We push through. We get another cup of coffee and force ourselves to keep staring at the screen. We are fighting the tide. The wise and productive person understands this rhythm. They work in focused bursts of about 90 minutes, and then they intentionally take a 20-minute break. They get up, they stretch, they walk outside, they listen to music, they do something completely different. And when they return to their work, their brain is refreshed and ready for another 90 minutes of high-quality focus. By honoring the need for rest, they actually get more done and with less stress. It is a perfect example of working with the current, not against it. For women, there is another powerful cycle that governs their physical and emotional reality every month: the menstrual cycle. This inner cycle is a perfect microcosm of the 4 seasons. The follicular phase, after the period ends, is the inner spring, a time of rising energy and new beginnings. Ovulation is the inner summer, a time of peak energy, radiance, and connection. The luteal phase is the inner autumn, a time to turn inward, to slow down, to harvest wisdom. And menstruation is the inner winter, a time for deep rest, release, and introspection. For centuries, this cycle was honored as a source of deep, feminine wisdom. In our modern, linear, masculine-dominated culture, it is often treated as an inconvenience, something to be suppressed or ignored. Women are expected to show up with the same level of energy and productivity every single day of the month, which is a complete denial of their biological reality. To honor the law of the tide is to honor this inner rhythm, to schedule your life in a way that aligns with your inner seasons, allowing for more rest during your inner winter and scheduling important events during your inner summer. The spiritual traditions of the world have always understood the wisdom of rhythm. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei is perhaps the most elegant expression of this law. Wu Wei is often translated as effortless action or non-doing. It does not mean being lazy or passive. It means acting in perfect harmony with the natural flow of things. It is the wisdom of the farmer who plants in the spring, tends the fields in the summer, harvests in the autumn, and rests in the winter. He does not try to pull on the sprouts to make them grow faster. He does the right thing at the right time, and then he lets nature take its course. Wu Wei is the art of knowing when to exert effort and when to surrender. It is about ceasing to struggle against the current. The ancient practice of the Sabbath, a dedicated day of complete rest from work, found in Judaism and other faiths, is not just a religious rule. It is a profound spiritual technology. It is a forced pause, a mandatory honoring of the cycle of work and rest. It is a weekly reminder that our worth is not in our doing, but in our being. It is a day to recharge our souls and reconnect with the source of life. So how do we begin to reclaim this natural rhythm in our overstimulated, out-of-sync lives? We must become gentle observers of our own energy. We must learn to listen to the subtle whispers of our body and soul before they become the desperate screams of burnout and illness. Our first practical exercise is a profound one. It is called rhythm mapping, the 4-week energy audit. For the next 28 days, a full lunar cycle, I want you to become a scientist of your own experience. Get a dedicated journal for this. Each day, I want you to track a few key metrics. First, your physical energy level, on a scale of 1 to 10. Second, your mood or emotional state. Third, your mental focus and clarity. And fourth, your creativity or inspiration level. Just make a few notes each evening. You can also note where the moon is in its cycle, and for women, where you are in your menstrual cycle. Do not try to change anything at first. Just observe. At the end of the 4 weeks, you will have an incredible map of your own personal rhythm. You will start to see patterns. I notice my energy is always highest in the week after my period. I see that my creativity peaks around the full moon, but my sleep is worse. I realize I am most focused in the morning, and my afternoons are a creative wasteland. This map is priceless. It allows you to stop fighting your nature and start working with it. It is the blueprint for a life of flow. Once you have your map, you can begin to practice the second exercise, conscious energy allocation. Look at your calendar for the coming week. Look at your to-do list. Now, instead of just randomly plugging tasks into time slots, I want you to schedule them according to your energy map. Schedule your most important, focus-intensive tasks for the times of day or the times of the month when you know your mental clarity is at its peak. This might be from 9 to 11 in the morning. Protect that time fiercely. Do not let meetings or emails intrude upon it. Schedule your more creative, brainstorming activities for the times when you feel more expansive and dreamy. Schedule your mundane, low-energy tasks, like answering emails or doing laundry, for your natural energy slumps, like the mid-afternoon. If you know you're entering your inner winter, a period of low energy, be ruthless about clearing your schedule. Say no to social engagements. Build in extra time for rest. By aligning your tasks with your natural energy flow, you will accomplish more, with far less effort and stress. You will be surfing the wave instead of paddling against it. The third, and perhaps most crucial practice in our modern world, is the art of the sacred pause. We must relearn the lost art of doing nothing. A pause is not scrolling on your phone. That is just another form of stimulation. A sacred pause is a moment of true emptiness, a deliberate stepping off the treadmill. I want you to start weaving a menu of pauses into your life. Start with the micro pause. Several times a day, just for 60 seconds, stop what you are doing. Close your eyes, take 3 deep conscious breaths, feel your feet on the floor. Bring your awareness into your body. That is it. This tiny act breaks the trance of constant doing and reconnects you with the present moment. Then, practice the ultradian pause. Based on your ultradian rhythm, after every 90 minutes of focused work, take a genuine 20-minute break. Get away from your screen, walk around the block, listen to a piece of music, cuddle with your pet. Do something that uses a different part of your brain and body. Once a week, schedule a macro pause. This could be a digital Sabbath, where you turn off your phone and computer for a full afternoon or even a full day. You will be astonished at how anxious this makes you feel at first, and then at how liberating and restorative it becomes. It could be a solo date to an art museum or a long, silent walk in a park. This is your time to disconnect from the demands of the world and reconnect with the whispers of your own soul. Finally, you can practice our 4th exercise, which is called seasonal living. This is a journaling practice. At the beginning of each month, take some time to reflect on the different areas of your life: your career, your primary relationship, your health, your creative life. For each area, ask yourself, what season am I in right now? Perhaps your career is in a deep winter. You feel uninspired and are contemplating a big change. Honoring that means not forcing yourself to be productive, but allowing yourself time for reflection and exploration. Maybe your primary relationship is in a vibrant summer full of connection and joy. Honoring that means savoring it, celebrating it, and giving it your full presence. Maybe your health is in a tender spring as you start a new fitness routine. Honoring that means being gentle and consistent, not pushing yourself too hard too soon. By identifying the season, you align your expectations and your actions with reality. You stop judging yourself for being in winter, and you learn to embrace the unique gifts and requirements of every phase. Living by the law of the tide is a radical act of self-compassion. It is giving yourself permission to be human, not a robot. It is trusting that the periods of rest are just as productive as the periods of action. It is understanding that you cannot bloom all year round, and that is not a flaw. It is a feature of your beautiful, natural design. Let go of the need to be always on. Let go of the guilt you feel when you need to rest. Begin to listen to the rhythms of your own body, your own heart, your own soul. They are connected to the ancient, wise rhythms of the moon, the tides, and the seasons. You are a part of this magnificent cosmic dance. Stop fighting the music. Surrender to the rhythm. Ebb and flow with the great, gentle, powerful tide of life, and it will carry you to shores of peace and wholeness you never thought possible. Chapter 6. The Law of the Compass and the Step. We have journeyed deep into the inner landscape, uncovering the foundational laws that govern our being. We have embraced the truth that we are a seed of potential, that our vibration is our point of attraction through the law of the echo, that we must honor the flow of the river and the reflections of the mirror, and that we must surrender to the cycles of the tide. Now the time has come to bring all of this inner wisdom into the outer world. It is time to bridge the gap between who we are and what we do. This brings us to the sixth forgotten law, the one that translates our spiritual understanding into tangible reality. This is the law of the compass and the step. The law is a beautiful duality. True, meaningful creation requires two essential components. First, you need a clear inner direction, a deep sense of purpose and intention. This is your compass. Second, you need a committed outer movement, a grounded, physical action taken in the real world. This is your step. Intention without action is nothing more than a pleasant daydream. It is a ship with a map, but no engine, drifting aimlessly. Action without intention is just chaos. It is a ship with a powerful engine but no map, speeding in circles and burning fuel. To navigate the ocean of life effectively, to create a life of purpose and meaning, you must align the unwavering needle of your inner compass with the steady motion of your next step. This law directly addresses one of the most common places people get stuck on their spiritual or personal growth path. We often fall into one of two traps, becoming either a dreamer or a hustler. The dreamer is in love with the inner world. They are masters of the compass. They meditate, they visualize, they journal, they create vision boards. They talk endlessly about their grand plans and the magnificent future they are calling in. They might have a deep understanding of the law of the echo and spend hours trying to cultivate the feeling of their desire, but they rarely take consistent, grounded action. They are waiting for the perfect moment, for a sign from the universe, for the motivation to strike like lightning. They believe that if their vibration is high enough, the universe will simply drop their dream life onto their lap, fully assembled. They are all compass and no step. Their life is full of beautiful potential that never quite materializes in the physical world. On the other side of the spectrum is the hustler. The hustler is a master of the step. They are all about action, productivity, and getting things done. They wake up early. They have a color-coded to-do list. They are constantly busy, moving from one task to the next. They believe that success is a direct result of sheer effort and willpower, but they have often lost touch with their inner compass. They are so busy doing, they have forgotten to ask why they are doing it. They are climbing the ladder of success with incredible speed, only to realize years later that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. They are busy, but not productive in a soulful sense. They are active, but not moving in a clear direction. They often feel a deep sense of emptiness and burnout because their actions are not fueled by a genuine sense of purpose. They are all step and no compass. The law of the compass and the step tells us that both are essential and they must work in harmony. They are the two wings of a bird. You cannot fly with only one. The compass is your connection to your why. It is the energetic blueprint. The step is your participation in the how. It is the physical manifestation. The compass sets the destination. The step is the act of walking the path. When these two forces are aligned, magic happens. You enter a state of aligned action or inspired action. Your actions feel less like a struggle and more like a dance. They are infused with purpose. And because they are guided by a clear intention, they are incredibly effective. You are no longer just pushing a boulder up a hill. You are following a map toward a treasure you know is waiting for you, and every step, even the difficult ones, feels meaningful. Let's first dive deeper into the nature of the compass. Setting your compass is not the same as setting a typical goal. A typical goal is often an outer achievement. I want to make $1 million. I want to get a promotion. I want to lose 20 pounds. There is nothing inherently wrong with these goals, but they are often disconnected from our deeper truth. They are things we think we should want, based on societal conditioning. The compass is about your inner destination. It is about the core feeling, the state of being that you believe the outer goal will give you. Why do you want $1 million? Do you believe it will give you a feeling of freedom, of security, of peace? Why do you want the promotion? Do you believe it will give you a feeling of significance, of respect, of creative expression? Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Do you believe it will give you a feeling of vitality, of self-love, of confidence? The feeling is the true destination. The outer goal is just one possible vehicle to get you there. The problem with focusing only on the outer goal is that it is often a moving target, and even when we achieve it, it may not deliver the feeling we were hoping for. Many people achieve great wealth only to find they are still insecure. Many people get the promotion and still feel insignificant. The universe is a feeling-based system. The law of the compass invites you to set your direction based on the core feeling you want to embody. This is infinitely more powerful. When you set your compass to freedom, the universe now has infinite ways to bring you that feeling. It might be through a new source of income, yes, but it could also be through learning to release your limiting beliefs, or by simplifying your life, or by finding a job with more autonomy. By focusing on the feeling, you open yourself up to a much wider range of possibilities. You are telling the universe the destination, but you are not dictating the exact route. This process of setting your compass is a sacred act of introspection. It connects back to the law of the seed. It is about listening to the blueprint within you. What is your soul yearning to feel, to experience, to express? This is not a logical, analytical process. It is an intuitive one. A powerful way to set your compass is through a guided visualization. Find a quiet time and place, close your eyes and take some deep breaths, settling into a calm state. Now, imagine yourself a year from now or 5 years from now, but do not imagine the specifics of your life. Instead, imagine the feeling. Imagine you are living your most joyful, authentic, and fulfilling life. What does that feel like in your body? Is it a feeling of expansive peace in your chest? A feeling of vibrant, creative energy in your hands? A feeling of deep, grounded security in your belly? A feeling of light-hearted laughter in your throat? Just sit with that feeling. Let it fill you up. This core feeling, this is your North Star. This is your compass. Once you have identified it, you can distill it into a single word or a short phrase. My compass is set to creative freedom. My compass is set to joyful service. My compass is set to deep peace. This becomes your guiding principle. Before you make any major decision, you can ask yourself, is this choice in alignment with my compass? Will this move me closer to the feeling of creative freedom? Now let's turn our attention to the other, equally vital half of the equation, the step. The step is the physical, tangible, often mundane action you take in the real world. It is the earthly counterpart to your spiritual intention. The universe operates on the principle of co-creation. You are a partner with the divine, not a passive recipient of its gifts. You must meet the universe halfway. By taking a physical step, you are demonstrating your commitment. You are signaling to the universe, I am serious about this. I'm not just dreaming. I am willing to participate in the creation of this reality. This act of stepping forward, no matter how small, is what grounds your intention and begins to draw the physical resources to you. The physics behind this is simple and profound. It is Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. Getting started is the hardest part. Overcoming the initial inertia requires the most energy. But once you take that first step, you have created momentum. The second step is easier than the first. The third is easier than the second. You are now an object in motion, and the universe conspires to keep you in motion. Many people, stuck in the dreamer trap, are waiting for the motivation to strike before they take the step. But they have it backward. Motivation does not precede action. Action precedes motivation. You do not feel like going to the gym, but you take the step of putting on your workout clothes. Then you take the step of driving to the gym. Once you are there and you start moving, the motivation and energy begin to flow. The step is the catalyst. It is the spark that ignites the fire. The key to the step is that it must be small. We often get paralyzed because we are looking at the huge distance between where we are and where we want to be. The dream of writing a novel is overwhelming. The thought of 300 pages is terrifying, so we do nothing. The law of the step tells you to forget the mountaintop. Just focus on the very next single small step in front of you. You do not have to write a novel today. Your step is to write one sentence, or to open a new document and give it a title, or to simply get out your notebook and pen. This is what I call the 1-degree shift. If you are an airplane pilot flying from Los Angeles to New York and you change your trajectory by just 1 single degree at the beginning of the flight, you will end up in a completely different state. You will land in Washington, D.C., not New York. The initial change is tiny, almost imperceptible. But over the vast distance of the journey, it results in a massive difference in outcome. Your life is the same. You do not need to make a massive, dramatic leap today. You just need to make a 1-degree shift. You just need to take one small step in the direction of your compass. What is that 1-degree shift for you? If your compass is set to vibrant health, your step is not to run a marathon tomorrow. Your step is to go for a 10-minute walk after dinner tonight, or to add 1 extra vegetable to your lunch, or to drink 1 more glass of water today. If your compass is set to financial freedom, your step is not to make $1 million this week. Your step is to read 1 chapter of a book on personal finance, or to track your spending for 1 day, or to set up an automatic transfer of just $10 into a savings account. The size of the step is irrelevant. The direction of the step is everything. It must be aligned with your compass. And the consistency of the step is what creates the momentum. 1 small step taken every single day is infinitely more powerful than 1 giant leap taken once a year. The daily step is what builds the superhighway of neuroplasticity in your brain. It is what sends a consistent, powerful signal to the universe that you are a co-creator, actively moving toward your desired reality. This combination of a clear compass and a small, consistent step creates a powerful feedback loop with the universe. You set your compass, intention. You take a small step, action. Then you must pause and observe awareness. The universe will now give you feedback. It will send you a reflection in the mirror. It will present you with a new opportunity. It will bring a new person into your life. This feedback helps you to adjust your course. Perhaps you took a step toward what you thought was creative freedom by starting a certain business, but the feedback you are getting is a feeling of dread and constriction. This is not failure. This is valuable data. It is the universe telling you your compass is correct, but this particular path is not the most aligned one for you. Try a different step. You then recalibrate. You set your compass again to creative freedom, and you try a new small step in a slightly different direction. Perhaps you take a painting class instead. This is the dance of co-creation. Intention, action, awareness. Compass, step, feedback. It is a constant, evolving conversation between you and the universe. Let's look at how this beautiful law shows up in psychology and even in the world of high performance. Goal-setting theory, a well-researched field in psychology, has shown us exactly what works. The most effective goals are specific, a clear compass, and challenging, but they must be paired with immediate, actionable feedback and a sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you can take the steps. This is the law in action. A vague wish like, "I want to be happy," is a weak compass and has no clear step. A specific feeling-based intention like, "I want to cultivate a daily feeling of peace," combined with a small step like, "I will meditate for 5 minutes every morning," is a powerful, effective formula for change. In the world of creative arts and entrepreneurship, this is the principle behind the minimum viable product, or the shitty first draft. A writer who waits for the perfect novel to appear fully formed in their mind will never write anything. The successful writer embraces the law of the step. They write a shitty first draft just to get the story down on paper. This is the first step. It is not meant to be perfect. It is meant to be done. Once it is done, they have something to work with. They can then go back, guided by their compass of the story they want to tell, and begin the process of editing and refining. The first step was the catalyst that made everything else possible. The startup founder who waits until they have the perfect, fully featured product will be beaten by the one who releases a minimum viable product, a simple version with just the core features. This is the step. They get it out into the world. They get feedback from real users, awareness. And then they use that feedback to iterate and improve, guided by their compass of the problem they want to solve. They are in the dance. Now let's turn this into a set of practical tools you can use to master the law of the compass and the step in your own life. Our first exercise is a deep dive journaling practice I call the compass calibration. This is where you will define your North Star. Find at least 30 minutes of uninterrupted time. Put on some calming music. Light a candle if you wish. Make this a sacred appointment with your soul. In your journal, I want you to explore the following prompts. Do not rush. Let the answers emerge from your heart, not just your head. Prompt 1. The peak experience. Describe a time in your life when you felt truly alive, joyful, and in the flow. It could be a big moment or a small one. What were you doing? Who were you with? Most importantly, what did it feel like in your body? Use descriptive sensory words. This will give you clues to your core desired feelings. Prompt 2. The heartbreak. Describe a time of significant pain or disappointment. What was it that hurt so much? What core value of yours was violated? Often, our greatest purpose is hidden on the other side of our deepest pain. If your heartbreak was about betrayal, your compass might be pointing toward authentic connection. If it was about injustice, your compass might be pointing toward compassionate service. Prompt AH. If you had all the money and time in the world and you knew you could not fail, what problem would you want to solve? What would you want to create or contribute to the world? Let your imagination soar. This points to the legacy your soul wants to leave. Prompt 4. Distill the feeling. Look over your answers to the first 3 prompts. What are the common threads? What are the recurring feelings and values? Try to distill all of this down into 1, 2, or maybe 3 compass words. These are your core desired feelings. Examples could be freedom, connection, peace, vitality, joy, adventure, creativity, service, abundance. Write these words in big letters at the top of a fresh page. This is your compass. This is your why. Once you have your compass calibrated, we move to the second exercise, the 1-degree shift action planner. This is where we break your grand vision down into a non-intimidating, actionable step. Take one of your compass words, for example, vitality. On a new page, write vitality at the top. Now, I want you to brainstorm a list of the smallest possible actions you could take that would move you even 1 tiny degree closer to that feeling. Remember, no step is too small. For vitality, your list might look like this. Drink a glass of water when I wake up. Stretch for 5 minutes before bed. Walk around the block at lunchtime. Eat 1 piece of fruit with my breakfast. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier. Listen to an upbeat song and dance in my living room. Do 5 push-ups. Look at this list. None of these actions are overwhelming. They are all achievable. Now from this list, I want you to choose just one single action that you will commit to doing tomorrow. Circle it. This is your step. The next day, you can choose another one. The goal is not to do everything on the list at once. The goal is to prove to yourself and to the universe that you are in motion. You are taking consistent, compass-aligned steps. Our third practical tool is a powerful mindset shift called celebrating the step, not the outcome. This is crucial for staying in the game for the long haul. Our society teaches us to only celebrate when we reach the finish line. We only pop the champagne when we get the promotion, or sign the book deal, or reach the goal weight. This means we spend most of our lives feeling like we are not there yet, which is a low vibration state of lack. The law of the compass and the step teaches us to change what we celebrate. Every single day that you take your small, aligned step, you must celebrate. Did you commit to writing for 15 minutes and you did it? That is a huge win. Acknowledge it. Give yourself a mental pat on the back. Say out loud, I am proud of myself for honoring my commitment. Did you go for your 10-minute walk? Celebrate. Feel the feeling of accomplishment. This practice does 2 things. It rewires your brain to associate the action itself with pleasure, which makes you more likely to do it again. And it keeps you in a high vibration state of success and progress every single day, which, according to the law of the echo, will attract more success and progress to you. Do not wait for the mountaintop to feel good. Feel good for every single step you take on the path. Finally, we must incorporate the vital element of feedback. Our 4th exercise is the weekly compass check-in. At the end of each week, schedule a 15-minute appointment with yourself. Look back at the steps you took this week. Ask yourself 2 questions. Question 1. How did taking these steps make me feel? Did they move me closer to my compass feeling? This is about checking in with your inner guidance system. Perhaps you thought a certain action would lead to peace, but it actually created more stress. That is not failure. It is feedback. Question 2. What feedback did the universe provide? What new opportunities, conversations, or synchronicities showed up after I took these steps? This is about looking for the echo from the outer world. Did you take a step toward connection by going to a networking event and then meet someone who introduced you to a whole new community? Acknowledge this. See it as the universe meeting you halfway. This weekly check-in allows you to stay in the dynamic dance of co-creation. It helps you to be agile, to adjust your steps, and to recognize the support you are receiving, which builds your faith in the process. The law of the compass and the step is the great integrator. It takes the esoteric and makes it practical. It takes your dreams and gives them hands and feet. It honors both the divine, intuitive wisdom of your soul and the grounded human reality of your life. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and this law honors both parts of that equation. So stop waiting. Stop endlessly preparing. Calibrate your compass. Connect with the deep feeling your soul is calling for. And then, take one small, imperfect, courageous step. Today, the path will be revealed not before you step, but as you step. The universe is waiting to see you in motion. Show it that you are ready to dance. Chapter 7. The Law of the Open Hand. We have traveled so far on this path of remembrance. We have learned to honor the seed within, to broadcast our truth through the echo, to flow with the river, to learn from the mirror, to dance with the tide, and to navigate with the compass and the step. We have built a powerful toolkit for conscious creation. But now we arrive at a law that seems at first to contradict everything we have just learned about focused intention and aligned action. This is the great paradox of creation, the subtle and profound art of letting go. This is the seventh forgotten law, the law of the open hand, which can also be called the law of paradoxical surrender. The law states this: to truly and fully receive that which you desire, you must release your desperate, white-knuckled grip on it. You must want it, you must align with it, you must take steps toward it, and then you must open your hand and surrender the outcome to the universe. A clenched fist cannot receive a gift. The universe cannot place its blessings into a hand that is desperately clutching at a single, specific result. It is in the act of letting go that you create the space for the miracle to arrive. This is, without a doubt, one of the most difficult and sophisticated spiritual practices there is. It flies in the face of our ego's most cherished belief, the belief that we are in control. The ego believes that the harder we try, the more we worry, the more we strategize, and the more we force things, the more likely we are to get what we want. The ego thinks that if it just lets go, the whole project will fall apart. It thinks that surrender is weakness. It thinks that letting go means giving up. But true spiritual surrender is the opposite of giving up. It is not a passive resignation. It is an active and courageous act of trust. It is the ultimate statement of faith. It is the conscious choice to align your will with a wisdom far greater than your own. It is doing your part with excellence and then trusting the universe to do its part with perfection. Imagine you are trying to grow a tomato plant. You follow all the laws we have discussed. You choose a good seed, law of the seed. You lovingly tend to it, feeling the joy of a future harvest, law of the echo. You water it consistently, law of the river. You notice if it is getting yellow leaves and learn from that feedback, law of the mirror. You give it sun and rest, law of the tide. You plant it and fertilize it, law of the compass and the step. You do all of your work. Now, what would happen if, after doing all of this, you went out every day and dug up the seed to see if it was growing? What if you anxiously pulled on the little sprout, trying to force it to grow faster? What if you spent all day and night worrying about whether there would be too much rain or not enough sun? You would kill the plant. Your anxiety, your need for control, your desperate attachment to a specific outcome, a big, red, juicy tomato by next Tuesday, would strangle the very life out of the natural process. The wise gardener does their work, and then they surrender. They trust the process of nature. They trust the sun and the rain. They have faith that life knows what it is doing. This is the law of the open hand. The energy of attachment is a powerful and destructive force. It is the energy of the clenched fist. It is born from the deep fear that you will not get what you want, or that you will lose what you have. This fear creates a constricted, needy, desperate vibration. Remember the law of the echo. The universe responds to your vibration. When you are broadcasting the frequency of "I need this to happen or I will not be okay," you are vibrating at the frequency of "not okay." You are in a state of deep lack and fear. And the universe, in its perfect impersonal way, will echo that back to you. It will bring you more circumstances that make you feel not okay. It will bring you more evidence that you are lacking. Your desperate need for the thing actually repels the thing from you. It is a cruel paradox, but a fundamental law of energy. Let's look at this through a very human lens. Imagine you are on a first date with someone. You really like them. Your ego goes into overdrive. It starts thinking, this is the one. I have to make them like me. So you spend the whole date trying to be perfect. You overanalyze every word you say. You laugh too hard at their jokes. You are not really listening to them because you are too busy planning your next clever remark. You are radiating an energy of neediness and desperation. You are trying to control the outcome. How does the other person experience this? They feel it. They feel the pressure. They feel that you are not being authentic. They feel a subtle sense of being suffocated. Your desperate desire to be liked is the very thing that makes you unlikable. Now, contrast that with a different scenario. You go on the date with a different mindset. Your intention is simply to get to know this person and to have an enjoyable evening. Compass. You are your authentic self. Step. But you have surrendered the outcome. Open hand. You have the attitude, if this works out, great. If not, that is okay too. I will be fine either way. You are relaxed. You are present. You are genuinely curious about the other person. You are not attached to a specific result. What energy do you radiate now? Confidence, authenticity, ease. You are attractive because you are not trying to be. You have let go, and in doing so, you have allowed the best possible outcome to unfold naturally. This principle is at the heart of what scientists who study peak performance call the flow state. When athletes, musicians, artists, or even surgeons are performing at their absolute best, they all describe a similar experience. Time seems to slow down. Their sense of self, their ego, disappears. They are not thinking or analyzing, they are simply doing. They are completely absorbed in the present moment. They are in a state of effortless effort. They are in the flow. How do they get there? Through a paradoxical combination of intense preparation and complete surrender. A concert pianist practices a difficult piece for thousands of hours, the step guided by the compass of a flawless performance. But when they walk on stage, if they are thinking about every single note, if they are attached to playing it perfectly, they will be stiff and mechanical. The great pianist, at the moment of performance, lets go. They surrender their conscious mind to their trained muscle memory and to the spirit of the music. They trust their preparation, and they allow the music to flow through them. They open their hand. It is in that moment of surrender that true brilliance emerges. The ego's desire for control is the enemy of flow. So why is this so hard for us? It is because our ego has a deep-seated control illusion. Psychology has studied this extensively. We have a cognitive bias that makes us overestimate our ability to control events. We believe our worrying is productive. We believe our micromanaging helps. This illusion gives us a temporary feeling of safety in a world that can feel chaotic and unpredictable. But it is a false safety, and it comes at a huge cost. The more we try to control things that are ultimately outside of our control, like the stock market, the weather, or what other people think of us, the more anxious, frustrated, and powerless we feel. True power lies in understanding the paradox. You gain more control by releasing the need for control. You gain power by focusing exclusively on the one and only thing you ever truly have control over: your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own actions. You control the quality of your intention, compass, and the integrity of your effort, step. The outcome, the timing, and the specific form in which your desire manifests, that you must surrender. You must release that to the wisdom of the river. The spiritual traditions of the world are unanimous on this point. In the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives a timeless teaching to the warrior Arjuna. He says, "You have a right to your actions, but never to your actions' fruits. Act for the action's sake, and do not be attached to inaction." This is a perfect articulation of the law of the open hand. Do your sacred duty, take your aligned step with all your heart and all your skill. But release your attachment to the results of that action. The fruits belong to the universe. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu writes, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need." This is the essence of surrender. In the Christian tradition, the most famous prayer is, "Thy will be done." This is not a prayer of passive resignation. It is an active aligning of one's personal will with the divine will, a profound act of trust that God's plan is wiser and more loving than the ego's limited plan. There is another, deeper layer to this law. Often, our attachment to a very specific outcome is what blocks us from receiving something even better. Our ego mind is limited. It can only imagine solutions based on its past experiences. The universe, on the other hand, is infinitely creative. It has access to possibilities that our limited mind cannot even conceive of. Let's say your deep desire, your compass, is for financial abundance. Your ego mind latches onto one specific vehicle for that. I must get that promotion at my current job. So you focus all your energy on that one outcome. You are attached to it. Your fist is clenched around the idea of that promotion. But what if the universe has a much better plan for you? What if there is an opportunity to start your own business that will bring you 10 times the abundance and 100 times the joy? What if there is another company that is a much better fit for your soul's purpose? As long as your fist is clenched around the promotion, you are not open to seeing these other better possibilities. Your attachment to the good is blocking you from the great. When you open your hand, when you say to the universe, "My compass is set to financial abundance. I will take the steps toward this promotion with excellence. But I am open to this or something even better," you have suddenly opened yourself up to the field of infinite possibilities. You have given the universe room to work its magic. So, how do we practice this subtle and powerful art of surrender? It is a delicate dance between effort and release, between doing and being. Our first practical tool is a powerful ritual I call the release ceremony. This is something you do after you have done your part. After you have sent the important email, completed the big project, had the difficult conversation, or done your manifestation practice. You have taken your step. Now you must consciously and ceremonially release the outcome. You can do this in many ways. Find one that feels meaningful to you. One way is through writing. Take a piece of paper. On one side, write down your desire and all the actions you have taken toward it. Pour out all your effort onto the page. Then on the other side, write something like this: "I have done my part to the best of my ability. I now release the outcome, the timing, and the specific form of this manifestation to the wisdom of the universe. I trust that what is for my highest good is on its way to me. I'm open to this or something better." And so it is. Read this statement aloud. Feel the truth of it. Then, safely burn the piece of paper. As you watch the smoke rise, visualize your attachment and your anxiety rising with it, dissolving into the vastness of the sky. This physical act sends a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that the doing phase is over and the trusting phase has begun. Another way is through water. Go to a river, a lake, or the ocean. Find a leaf or a small, biodegradable object. Hold it in your hand and infuse it with your intention and your attachment. Pour all your hopes and fears into it. Then, place it in the water and watch it float away. As it drifts out of your sight, feel the burden of the outcome drifting away with it. You have given it to the river trusting the current to carry it to its right destination in its right time. A third way is through breath. After you have taken your action, sit quietly. Take a deep breath in, imagining you are breathing in trust, peace, and faith. As you exhale, imagine you are breathing out all the worry, all the need for control, all the attachment to the outcome. Do this several times, with the conscious intention of releasing the situation from your energetic grip. The second powerful practice is to actively cultivate detachment through a worst-case scenario exercise. This may sound counterintuitive, but it is incredibly effective for loosening the ego's grip. Our attachment is fueled by the fear of what will happen if we do not get what we want. We are afraid to even look at that fear, so it festers in the dark and controls us. This exercise brings it into the light. Take out your journal. At the top of the page, write down the specific outcome you are attached to, getting the promotion. Now ask yourself, what is the absolute worst thing that would happen if I did not get this? And do not hold back. Write it all out. I would be disappointed. I would feel like a failure. My coworker would get it, and I would feel jealous. I would have to stay in my current role for another year. My spouse might be disappointed in me. Keep going until you have exhausted every fear. Now, look at that list, and for each item, ask yourself, and then what? Could I handle that? Could you handle being disappointed? Yes, it would be unpleasant, but you would survive. Could you handle feeling like a failure for a while? Yes, you have felt that before and you got through it. Could you handle your coworker getting the job? Yes, it would sting, but you could learn to be happy for them. When you courageously face your worst-case scenario and realize that you would, in fact, survive, a magical thing happens. The fear loses its power. The attachment loses its desperate life or death charge. You realize that your well-being is not actually dependent on this one specific outcome. This creates a profound sense of inner freedom and resilience. It allows you to pursue your goals with passion, but without the crippling weight of neediness. You can open your hand because you know that even if it remains empty, you will still be okay. Our third practice is to incorporate the mantra of surrender into your daily life. A mantra is a sacred word or phrase that you repeat to retune your consciousness. Whenever you find yourself starting to worry, to obsess, or to try to control a situation, I want you to gently interrupt the thought pattern and repeat one of these phrases to yourself, either silently or out loud. A simple and powerful one is, "This or something better." This mantra acknowledges your desire, but simultaneously opens you up to the infinite wisdom of the universe. It is a statement of both intention and trust. Another beautiful mantra is, "I do my best and I leave the rest." This reminds you of the division of labor between you and the universe. Your job is the effort. The universe's job is the outcome. A third one, for when you are feeling particularly anxious, is simply, "I trust the process." Repeating these phrases helps to calm your nervous system and to shift you out of the constricted energy of the ego and into the expansive energy of trust. It is like a gentle course correction for your mind, steering it away from the rocks of attachment and back into the open waters of surrender. Finally, you can practice the physical act of opening your hands. This is a simple but surprisingly powerful somatic exercise. Several times a day, especially when you feel stressed or anxious, I want you to consciously notice the posture of your hands. Are they clenched into fists? Is there tension in your fingers? Our emotional state is often reflected in our physical body. A tense mind creates a tense body. A clenched mind creates clenched fists. When you notice this, I want you to deliberately do the opposite. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, consciously unfurl your fingers. Open your palms and turn them upwards, as if in a gesture of receiving. Rest them on your lap like this for a minute or two. This simple physical act sends a message back to your brain. It says, "I am safe. I am open. I am willing to receive. It can instantly soften the emotional state of anxiety and control. You are using your body to teach your mind how to surrender. It is a practice of embodiment, moving the concept of the open hand from an intellectual idea to a lived physical reality. The law of the open hand is the master's path. It is the subtle art of dancing with the paradox of creation. It asks you to be both a powerful creator and a humble servant. It asks you to have both unwavering intention and radical trust. It is the final, crucial ingredient that allows all the other laws to work in their most magical and miraculous ways. You plant the seed, you align your energy, you walk the path, and then you open your hand. You release your tiny, limited plan and you make space for the grand, magnificent, and infinitely wise plan of the universe to unfold. Do your work with all your heart, and then let go with all your faith. It is in that sacred space of surrender that you will discover that the universe has been waiting all along to give you not just what you wanted, but something far more beautiful than your ego could have ever imagined. Open your hand. The gift is on its way. Chapter 8. The Law of the True Note. We have navigated the intricate dance of creation, from planting the seed of our potential to the ultimate act of surrender with the open hand. Now, we arrive at a law that is not about what you do, but about who you are. It is the very essence of your being, the unique signature you leave on the world. This is the 8th forgotten law, the law of the true note, or the law of authentic resonance. The law is this: every single soul in the universe has a unique, intrinsic vibrational frequency, a true note. This note is the sound of your most authentic self. It is the resonance of your soul's purpose, your unique gifts, and your deepest truths, all vibrating in harmony. When you live, speak, and act from this place of authenticity, you broadcast this clear, pure note into the world. In response, the universe, through the law of the echo, brings to you the people, opportunities, and experiences that are in perfect harmony with your true note. You attract your soul family, your right work, and your perfect circumstances effortlessly. Conversely, when you are not living authentically, when you are trying to play someone else's note to please others or to fit in, you broadcast a dissonant, out-of-tune signal. This creates a life filled with friction, frustration, and a deep, nagging sense of being a stranger in your own life. Your most important work is to find your true note and to have the courage to sing it, clearly and unapologetically, no matter what. Think of a grand orchestra. It is filled with dozens of different instruments. There are violins, cellos, flutes, trumpets, clarinets, and massive kettle drums. Each instrument is designed to produce a specific range of notes, a unique timbre and tone. The beauty of the symphony comes from this diversity. It comes from each instrument playing its own part, its own true notes, in harmony with the others. Now, imagine if the violin, feeling insecure, decided it wanted to be a trumpet. It sees the trumpet so shiny and loud, getting all the big brassy solos, and it thinks, "That's what I should be." So the violin tries with all its might to make a trumpet sound. It strains its strings, it contorts its wooden body. What sound does it produce? It does not sound like a beautiful trumpet. It sounds like a terrible screeching violin. It has lost its own natural grace and beauty in the attempt to be something it is not. It has not only failed to become a trumpet, it has also ceased to be a good violin. It is just creating dissonance. The orchestra would be a cacophony. We do this in our own lives every single day. We are born as a unique instrument. Perhaps you are a soulful, deep cello meant to provide the rich emotional foundation. But you look around and see that society seems to reward the flashy, high-pitched flutes. So you spend your life trying to be light and bubbly and high-pitched. You contort your soul into a shape that is not its own, and you wonder why you feel so exhausted, so fake, so empty. You wonder why the other flutes seem to sense that you are not one of them, and why the other cellos, your true tribe, cannot hear your song. You are not singing your true note. You are trying to be a bad flute instead of the magnificent cello you were born to be. The first step to a life of authentic resonance is to give up the impossible and soul-crushing task of trying to be a different instrument. You must fall in love with the instrument you were given. This pressure to conform, to play a note that is not our own, begins almost from the moment we are born. As children, we are exquisitely sensitive to the needs and expectations of our caregivers. Our survival depends on it. We quickly learn which parts of us are acceptable and which are not. This is the process of creating our social mask, or what the psychologist Carl Rogers called the ideal self. Perhaps you were a naturally quiet and introspective child, but you were raised in a loud, extroverted family. You learned that to get love and attention, you had to be more outgoing, so you developed an outgoing mask. Perhaps you were a deeply sensitive and emotional child, but you were told to toughen up and stop crying. So you learned to wear a mask of stoicism. We all create these masks. They are survival strategies. The problem is not that we have masks. The problem is that we wear them for so long that we forget they are masks. We start to believe that we are the mask. We lose touch with the true face, the true note that lies beneath. The journey back to authenticity is a process of gently and courageously removing these masks, one by one, and reintroducing our true self to the world. The science of acoustics gives us a beautiful metaphor for this. Every object has a natural resonant frequency. A wine glass has a specific note that it wants to sing at. If an opera singer sings that exact note, the glass will begin to vibrate with incredible intensity, absorbing the energy from the sound waves. If the singer is powerful enough, the glass will absorb so much energy that it shatters. This is the power of pure resonance. You have a true note, a natural resonant frequency. When your thoughts, words, and actions are all aligned with this true note, you become incredibly powerful. You absorb the energy of the universe. Opportunities and synchronicities seem to flock to you because you are in perfect resonance with your own purpose. You are a clear channel. However, when your actions are out of tune with your true self, it is like singing the wrong note at the wine glass. Nothing happens. There is no energy transfer. There is friction and resistance. Life feels like a struggle because you are out of tune with yourself. The field of sociology explores this through concepts like social identity and code switching. We all have multiple social identities. You might be a parent, an employee, a friend, a child. In each of these roles, we often subtly code switch, changing our language, our demeanor, and even our opinions to fit in with the expectations of that particular group. We talk to our boss in a different way than we talk to our best friend. This is a normal and often necessary social skill, but the danger comes when our code switching becomes so extreme that we lose our core, authentic center. We become a collection of different masks with no real face underneath. This leads to a fragmented sense of self and a feeling of being a chameleon, constantly changing colors to please others, but with no true color of our own. Authenticity is about maintaining a consistent core self, a true note that rings through all of your different roles and interactions. It is about being the same person at your core, whether you are in the boardroom or your living room. So what is this true note? It is the unique intersection of your core values, your innate passions and talents, your seed, and your deepest personal truths. Your values are the things that are most important to you at a soul level. Things like freedom, connection, creativity, justice, security, or adventure. Your passions are the activities that make you feel alive and lose track of time. Your truths are the things you have learned from your own unique life experience, the wisdom that is yours alone. When you are making choices that are in alignment with your values, engaging in your passions, and speaking your truth, you are singing your true note. When you make a choice that violates a core value, like taking a high-paying job that offers no freedom when freedom is your highest value, you create dissonance. You feel it in your body as anxiety, resentment, or a feeling of being trapped. Your body is the ultimate resonance detector. It never lies. One of the greatest obstacles to living authentically is the fear of disapproval. This is a deep, primal fear. For our ancestors, being cast out of the tribe was a death sentence. To survive, we had to conform. This ancient programming is still running in our modern brains. The fear of being judged, criticized, or rejected can be so powerful that we would rather betray ourselves than risk betraying the expectations of the group. We silence our own opinions to keep the peace. We hide our quirky, eccentric parts to appear normal. We say yes when our whole being is screaming no. Every time we do this, we are choosing the perceived safety of the tribe over the integrity of our own soul. We are choosing to play the orchestra's note instead of our own. The courageous path of authenticity requires us to be willing to disappoint others in order to be true to ourselves. It is the realization that fitting in is not the same as belonging. Fitting in is changing yourself to be accepted. Belonging is being accepted for who you truly are. You can only find true belonging when you have the courage to show your true self. Let's explore this with an example. Imagine a man who is a gifted artist. His true note is one of creativity, beauty, and emotional expression. But he was raised by a very practical father who told him that art is not a real career and that he needs to get a stable, respectable job. The son, fearing his father's disapproval and wanting to earn his love, suppresses his artistic calling. He goes to law school. He becomes a successful lawyer. He buys a nice house. He has all the external trappings of success. He is playing the good son note perfectly, but he is miserable. He feels empty, dead inside. He is a violin trying to be a trumpet. His soul is suffocating. One day, the pain becomes too much. He starts painting again, just in the evenings, for himself. As soon as he picks up the brush, he feels a sense of coming home. He feels alive. He is finally playing his true note, even if only for a few hours a week. The resonance is so powerful that it begins to shift his whole life. He becomes a better, more present father and husband because he is no longer living a lie. He starts sharing his art online. He finds a whole community of people who resonate with his work, his true tribe of fellow artists and art lovers. He may or may not ever quit his law job. That is not the point. The point is that by reintegrating his authentic true note into his life, he has moved from dissonance to harmony, from a life of quiet desperation to one of integrated joy. The spiritual traditions of the world see this as the ultimate alignment. To live authentically is to be in alignment with God, with Tao, with the universe. It is to be a clear and open channel for the divine to express itself through your unique form. The mystic poet Rumi wrote, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." That strange pull is the resonance of your true note. It is the call of your soul. To follow it is an act of supreme faith. It is trusting that the universe created you as a cello for a reason, and that there is a sacred and necessary place in the cosmic symphony for your deep, soulful music. Your job is not to figure out the whole symphony. Your job is just to play your part, to sing your note as beautifully and as truly as you can. So how do we begin this archaeological dig to uncover our true note, buried as it may be under years of conditioning and masks? It requires honesty, courage, and a great deal of self-compassion. Our first and most important practical exercise is called the resonance test. This is a tool you can use in your daily life to make authentically aligned choices. Your body is an incredibly sensitive instrument. It is constantly telling you whether you are in or out of tune with yourself. You just have to learn to listen. Before you make a decision, whether it is a big one, like taking a new job, or a small one, like whether to go to a party, I want you to pause, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Now, bring the first option to mind. For example, imagine yourself saying yes to the party invitation. As you hold that thought, scan your body. What are the physical sensations? Do you feel a sense of expansion, lightness, or openness in your chest and shoulders? Do you feel a sense of excitement or a gentle yes feeling? This is the feeling of resonance. Your body is telling you this choice is in alignment with your true note. Now, clear your mind and bring the second option to mind. Imagine yourself politely declining the invitation. Scan your body again. Do you feel a sense of contraction, tightness, or heaviness? Do you feel a knot in your stomach or a closing of your throat? This is the feeling of dissonance. Your body is telling you this choice is out of tune. This test is not about logic. It is not about what you should do. It is about honoring the profound, intuitive wisdom of your body. Your body knows your true note, even when your mind has forgotten it. Practice this with small decisions first. The more you use it, the more sensitive you will become to its signals, and the more you will trust its guidance. Our second exercise is about taking inventory of your masks. It is called the should detox. For 1 full week, I want you to carry a notebook with you and become a detective of the word should. Every time you hear yourself think or say, I should do this, or I should not feel that, I want you to write it down. I should go to the gym. I should call my mother. I should be more organized. I should not be angry about this. The word should is a major red flag. It almost always points to a place where you are operating from an external expectation or a self-imposed rule, rather than from an authentic desire. It is the voice of the mask. At the end of the week, look at your list of shoulds. For each one, I want you to ask a powerful question. According to whom? According to whom should I go to the gym? According to society? According to my doctor? According to my own inner critic? This helps you to identify the source of the pressure. Then for each should, I want you to try to rephrase it into an authentic, choice-based statement. For example, I should go to the gym could become, I choose to move my body today because I value feeling strong and energetic. Can you feel the difference? The first is a statement of obligation and potential guilt. The second is a statement of empowerment and authentic choice, aligned with a value. Or perhaps the truth is, I do not want to go to the gym today. I choose to honor my body's need for rest. This practice is not about becoming an irresponsible person who ignores all their obligations. It is about transforming your life from one driven by external shoulds to one guided by internal, authentic, I choose to. It is about taking your power back. The third practical application is a courageous act of revealing your true self. It is called dropping one mask. You do not have to become radically authentic overnight. That would be overwhelming and probably unwise. You can start small. I want you to identify one small area in your life where you are wearing a mask, where you are not being fully yourself. It might be with a particular group of friends, where you pretend to like certain music to fit in. It might be in a work meeting where you stay silent even when you have a good idea, because you are afraid of being judged. It might be with a family member where you always play the role of the easygoing one, even when you are upset. Choose one small, relatively safe context. And for the next time you are in that situation, I want you to make a conscious choice to drop the mask, just a little. Speak your truth with kindness and respect. For example, when your friends talk about that band you pretend to like, you could say gently, "You know, I've never really gotten into them. What is it you love about their music?" You are not being aggressive. You are just being honest. When you have an idea in the meeting, you can take a deep breath and say, I have a thought I'd like to share. You are not being arrogant. You are just contributing. When you are feeling upset with your family member, you can say, "I'm actually feeling a little hurt by that comment. Can we talk about it?" You are not starting a fight. You are just honoring your own feelings. Every time you do this, every time you choose authenticity over approval, you strengthen your authenticity muscle. You prove to yourself that it is safe to be you, and you will be amazed at the results. Often, the rejection you fear never comes. Instead, you are met with respect for your honesty, and you give others permission to be more authentic with you. Finally, we must cultivate an environment that supports our true note. This is our fourth exercise, the resonance review. Your environment, especially the people you spend the most time with, is like the concert hall for your music. If the hall has terrible acoustics, even the most beautiful music will sound bad. If the people around you are constantly critical, cynical, or inauthentic, it is incredibly difficult to sing your true note. I want you to take a piece of paper and draw a circle in the center with your name in it. Now, around that circle, write the names of the 5 to 10 people you spend the most time with. For each person, I want you to tune into how you feel when you are around them. Do they make you feel more like yourself or less like yourself? Do you feel energized and expansive in their presence, or drained and constricted? Be honest. Put a plus sign next to the people who are a resonant match, the ones who celebrate and support your true note. Put a minus sign next to the people who feel dissonant, the ones who you feel you have to wear a mask around. This is not about judging these people as good or bad. It is simply an assessment of vibrational compatibility. Your task now is to consciously choose to spend more time and energy with your plus people. Make an effort to connect with them. Let them know how much you appreciate them. For your minus people, you must start setting loving boundaries. This does not necessarily mean cutting them out of your life. It might just mean spending less time with them, or keeping your interactions more superficial, or consciously choosing not to engage in conversations that feel draining or inauthentic. You are the curator of your own energetic space. By consciously surrounding yourself with people who resonate with your true note, you make it infinitely easier and more joyful to be yourself. Your tribe will not find you if you are hiding in a crowd that is singing a different song. The law of the true note is a lifelong journey of coming home to yourself. It is a path of courage, vulnerability, and radical self-acceptance. It is the understanding that your unique, quirky, imperfectly perfect self is not a mistake. It is your greatest gift. It is the one thing no one else can offer the world. The universe is waiting for your specific music. It is waiting for the deep, soulful song of the cello, and the bright, joyful trill of the flute, and the powerful, steady beat of the drum. There is a hole in the cosmic orchestra that is shaped exactly like you. Do not leave that part of the symphony unplayed. Find your note, trust it, and sing it with all your heart. The world is waiting to hear you. Chapter 9. The Law of the Magnifying Glass. We have traveled through the very architecture of reality, from the inner world of potential and vibration to the outer world of action and authenticity. We have learned to plant our seed, sing our true note, and dance with the rhythms of the universe. Now we arrive at a law that governs the most powerful, creative, and often most undisciplined faculty we possess: our attention. This is the 9th forgotten law, the law of the magnifying glass. The law is deceptively simple. That which you consistently focus your attention upon, you amplify in your experience. Your consciousness is not a passive observer of reality. It is an active participant. It is a powerful lens, a magnifying glass that directs the creative energy of the universe. When you focus this lens on your problems, your fears, and what is lacking in your life, you pour energy into them. You magnify them. They grow larger, more solid, more intimidating. until they can seem to fill your entire world, like focusing a magnifying glass on a dry leaf until it bursts into flame. Conversely, when you learn to consciously and deliberately focus the lens of your attention on your blessings, on your opportunities, and on what is good and beautiful, you amplify those things. You pour your creative life force into them, and they expand to fill your experience with gratitude, joy, and abundance. Your attention is the currency of your reality. Where you choose to spend it determines the richness of your life. This is not a New Age, wishful thinking concept. This is a fundamental principle of both ancient spiritual wisdom and modern neuroscience. Our culture has forgotten the sacred power of attention. We treat it like it is a cheap, infinite resource. We give it away for free to the most sensational headlines, the most dramatic social media posts, and the loudest, most negative voices in our own heads. We allow our magnifying glass to be hijacked and pointed at things that create anxiety, division, and fear. We are then surprised when our life feels anxious, divided, and fearful. We have forgotten that our attention is our most precious creative tool. It is the rudder of our ship. Wherever you point it, that is the direction your entire life will steer. To reclaim your power, you must first reclaim your attention. You must become a conscious, deliberate master of your own focus. Let's look at the hard science behind this. In your brain, there is a network of neurons located in the brainstem called the reticular activating system, or the RAS. The RAS acts as a filter, a gatekeeper for the massive amounts of information that are bombarding your senses every single second. Scientists estimate that your senses are taking in over 11 million bits of information per second. You are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and feeling an incredible amount of data. If you were consciously aware of all of it, you would be instantly overwhelmed and unable to function. The RAS is the bouncer at the door of your conscious mind. It decides what is important enough to be let in. And how does it decide what is important? It listens to you. It listens to what you are thinking about, what you are focused on, what you have told it to value. Have you ever had the experience of deciding you want to buy a particular type of car, say a red Jeep? You had never really noticed them before. But the moment you make that decision, you start seeing red Jeeps everywhere. On the highway, in the grocery store parking lot, in your neighbor's driveway. It seems like the number of red Jeeps in the world has suddenly multiplied overnight. But has it? Of course not. The number of red Jeeps has not changed. What has changed is you. You have given your RAS a new instruction. You have told it, red Jeeps are now important to me. Pay attention to them. So your RAS, like a faithful servant, begins to scan the 11 million bits of information coming in every second, and it starts highlighting every red Jeep. It brings them from your unconscious perception into your conscious awareness. It was always seeing them, you just were not noticing them. This is a profound revelation. You are literally programming your own brain to find evidence for what you believe is important. If you walk around all day focused on the thought, the world is a dangerous place and people cannot be trusted, you have given your RAS a very clear command. You have told it, find evidence of danger and untrustworthiness. So it will diligently scan your environment and highlight every news story about crime, every person who looks at you sideways, every potential threat. It will filter out the 10 acts of kindness you walked past and show you the one act of aggression. At the end of the day, you will say, see, I was right, the world is a dangerous place. You will believe you are being an objective observer of reality, but you are not. You are a co-creator of your reality, using your focus to select a very specific slice of it to experience. Now, imagine you give your RAS a different command. Imagine you wake up and set a conscious intention. Today, I will look for evidence of kindness and beauty. You have now programmed your filter with a different set of instructions. As you go about your day, your RAS will start to highlight the stranger who holds the door open for you, the smile of the barista, the beautiful pattern of the clouds in the sky, the sound of children laughing in a park. It will filter out some of the negativity it might have otherwise shown you. At the end of the day, you will say, "Wow, what a wonderful day. People were so kind." The outer world did not change. The ratio of kindness to aggression did not change. What changed was the lens through which you were looking. You changed the programming of your own biological perception filter. This is not about denying the existence of negativity. The red Jeeps and the blue Hondas both exist. The danger and the kindness both exist. The law of the magnifying glass is about consciously choosing which one you are going to search for, and therefore which one you are going to amplify in your personal experience. The power of this focused attention is perhaps most dramatically demonstrated by the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a documented medical phenomenon where a patient's condition can improve after being given a completely inert substance, like a sugar pill, simply because they believe it is a real medicine. Their firm belief, their focused attention on the idea of, "I am taking something that will heal me," is enough to trigger a real physiological healing response in their body. Their brain can release its own natural painkillers, their immune system can be boosted, and their symptoms can genuinely subside. This is not all in their head. It is in their body. Their consciousness, their focused belief, has created a tangible, physical change. The magnifying glass of their attention was so intensely focused on the idea of healing that it amplified that potential and made it a reality. If our attention is powerful enough to change our own biology, imagine what it can do when directed at the circumstances of our life. The opposite is also true. This is the nocebo effect, where a patient's belief that a substance will harm them can cause them to experience negative symptoms even if the substance is inert. Their focused attention on the idea of harm creates the experience of harm. This shows us the immense responsibility we have for our own focus. Our thoughts are not harmless private little events. They are creative instructions. They are energetic broadcasts. Every moment you spend worrying about getting sick, you are pointing your magnifying glass at the idea of illness. Every moment you spend ruminating on a past failure, you are pouring your life force into the energy of failure. Every thought is a prayer for its own fulfillment. The question is, what are you praying for? All the great spiritual traditions have understood this principle. It is the very foundation of practices like prayer, mantra, and meditation. What is a mantra but the conscious, repetitive focusing of the mind on a sacred sound or phrase? In the Hindu tradition, repeating a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya is not just about the meaning of the words. It is about the discipline of bringing the wandering mind, the monkey mind, back again and again to a single point of focus. This trains the muscle of attention. It teaches you to be the master of your magnifying glass rather than its slave. When you can hold your focus on a single point, you can then choose to direct that focused power toward any intention you desire. What is prayer in its highest form? It is not begging a distant God for favors. It is the act of focusing the mind and heart on a desired state of being. It is using the magnifying glass of your attention to feel the presence of peace, to embody the feeling of gratitude, to connect with the energy of love. The 20th century Christian mystic Emmett Fox taught that the secret to effective prayer was to stop thinking about the problem and to focus entirely on the nature of God, on the qualities you wish to embody. If you are praying for health, you do not focus on the sickness. You focus on the divine quality of wholeness and vitality. You use your attention to amplify the solution, not the problem. The most powerful and accessible way to begin practicing the law of the magnifying glass is through the cultivation of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite sentiment. It is a creative force. It is the most powerful frequency you can broadcast into the universe, and it is a specific way of directing your attention. When you are in a state of gratitude, you are, by definition, focusing your magnifying glass on what you have, not on what you lack. You are amplifying the good that is already present in your life. And according to the law of the echo, the universe must send you more experiences that match that frequency. Gratitude is the ultimate abundance generator. Let's say you are feeling a sense of lack around your finances. The natural tendency is to focus on the bills, the debt, the things you cannot afford. You are pointing your magnifying glass at the fire of lack, and it is getting bigger and scarier. The practice of gratitude asks you to make a radical shift. It asks you to find something, anything, related to your financial life to be genuinely grateful for. Perhaps you can be grateful for the roof over your head, even if you are renting. You can feel the genuine feeling of safety and shelter it provides. You can be grateful for the meal you are about to eat, even if it is simple. You can be grateful for the $10 in your wallet. By focusing your attention on these things, by amplifying the feeling of "I have enough," you begin to shift your entire energetic signature. You move from the frequency of lack to the frequency of sufficiency. And from that place, the universe can begin to bring you more evidence of sufficiency, which can then grow into abundance. You cannot get to abundance by focusing on lack. You must find a feeling of abundance where you are, and gratitude is the key that unlocks that door. So, how do we make this a practical daily reality in our lives, especially when we are so conditioned to focus on the negative? We must train our attention like we would train a muscle at the gym. It requires consistency, patience, and deliberate effort. Our first and most foundational exercise is called the 3-minute magnifier. This is a non-negotiable daily practice. I want you to do this 3 times a day. Once in the morning when you wake up, once around midday, and once in the evening before you sleep. It only takes 3 minutes. For those 3 minutes, your only job is to find 3 new specific things that you are genuinely grateful for. And they must be specific. "I'm grateful for my family" is too vague. It does not engage your focus. Instead, be specific. "I'm grateful for the way my son's face lit up when he told me about his day." "I'm grateful for the specific taste of my morning coffee and the warmth of the mug in my hands." "I am grateful for the feeling of the clean sheets on my bed." The specificity is what forces your auras to actively scan your recent experience for positive data. Then, for each of the 3 things, I want you to close your eyes and marinate in the feeling of gratitude for about 30 seconds. Do not just think the thought, feel the feeling. Let the warmth of it spread through your chest. This practice, done consistently, will begin to literally rewire your brain. It will build and strengthen the neural pathways for positive focus. It will train your RAS to start looking for the good automatically. It will transform your baseline state of being. Our second exercise is a powerful intervention for when you find yourself caught in a negative spiral of worry or rumination. It is called the "what I want, not what I don't" reframe. Our brains are naturally wired with a negativity bias, a holdover from our survival days when it was more important to notice the tiger in the bushes than the beautiful flower next to it. This means that when we face a problem, our default focus is on the problem itself. If you are worried about an upcoming presentation, your mind will naturally focus on all the things that could go wrong. What if I forget my words? What if they think my ideas are stupid? What if the technology fails? You are pointing your magnifying glass directly at the fire of failure. This exercise asks you to consciously flip the lens. The moment you catch yourself in this negative spiral, I want you to stop, take a breath, and ask yourself this question. Okay, this is what I don't want. So, what is it that I do want? Then, you deliberately shift your focus to the desired outcome. For the presentation, you would reframe it like this. I want to feel confident and calm. I want to connect with my audience. I want to share my ideas clearly and passionately. I want to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment when I am finished. Can you feel the energetic shift? You have taken your magnifying glass off the fire of failure and are now using it to warm the seed of success. You are no longer praying for failure. You are now praying for success. This simple reframe, practiced consistently, can break lifelong habits of worry and anxiety. The third practical application is a conscious curation of your information diet. This is about becoming a fierce gatekeeper of your attention. In our modern world, thousands of corporations are spending billions of dollars to hijack your magnifying glass. The news media, social media companies, advertisers, their entire business model is based on capturing your attention and selling it. And they know that the easiest way to capture it is through fear, outrage, and drama. If you are mindlessly scrolling through your news feed or watching cable news for hours, you are allowing them to point your magnifying glass for you. You are handing over your most precious creative power. This exercise is called the attention fast. For 1 week, I want you to go on a strict negative information diet. This means no cable news. No scrolling through political outrage on social media. Unfollow any accounts that consistently make you feel angry, envious, or inadequate. Mute the cynical friend who only complains. This will be uncomfortable at first. You will feel out of the loop. You might feel a sense of withdrawal. That is the addiction breaking. Now, with all that time and attention you have freed up, you must consciously choose what to focus on instead. Use your magnifying glass with purpose. Listen to inspiring podcasts. Read a book that uplifts you. Watch a documentary about a great humanitarian or a natural wonder. Spend that time in nature. Have a deep, meaningful conversation with a loved one. At the end of the week, check in with yourself. How does your nervous system feel? What is the quality of your thoughts? How is your overall mood? You will likely feel a profound sense of peace and clarity. This exercise will prove to you, through your own direct experience, how much your external environment affects your inner state, and it will empower you to become a conscious consumer of information, investing your attention only in things that nourish your soul. Our fourth exercise is a way to use your magnifying glass, not just to appreciate what is, but to actively create what is to come. It is called the evidence log. Choose one specific goal or desire you are working toward. Let's say it is to build a successful new business. Your ego mind will be constantly looking for evidence of failure. The low sales numbers, the client who said no, the bug in the software. This is the negativity bias at work. The evidence log is a conscious practice to counteract this. Every single day, I want you to find and write down at least one piece of evidence, no matter how small, that you are moving in the right direction. It could be a positive comment from a customer. It could be that you solved a small technical problem. It could be that you made one new connection on LinkedIn. It could be that you simply showed up and worked on your business for an hour when you did not feel like it. By consciously searching for and documenting this positive evidence, you are training your RIS to look for proof of success. You are pointing your magnifying glass at your progress, not your setbacks. This builds momentum. It builds your confidence. It keeps you in the high vibration energy of "this is working," which, according to the law of the echo, will attract more experiences to prove that it is indeed working. The law of the magnifying glass is the master key to a life of joy and empowerment. It is the understanding that you are not just a victim of your thoughts, you are the director of them. Your attention is a sacred power, a focused beam of creative energy. You can use it to set your world on fire with fear and worry, or you can use it to warm and nourish the seeds of your greatest dreams. The choice is yours in every single moment. Stop giving your power away so cheaply. Become a miser with your attention, spending it only on that which is worthy of you. Train your mind, curate your environment, and consciously choose to look for the good. For what you focus on, you will find. What you focus on, you will feel. And what you focus on, you will become. Point your magnifying glass with wisdom and watch your world bloom. Chapter 10. The Law of the Mycelial Web. We have arrived at the final law in our journey of remembrance. It is the law that takes all the others. which have largely focused on our individual power and creation, and weaves them together into a single, unified, and breathtaking whole. It is the law that dissolves the illusion that has caused more suffering than any other, the illusion of separation. This is the 10th forgotten law, the law of the mycelial web, or the law of interconnection. The law is this: everything is connected to everything else. You are not and have never been a separate, isolated island. You are a single, unique, and vital node in a vast, invisible, intelligent web of consciousness that connects all beings, all things, all thoughts, and all events across all of time and space. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take sends a ripple, a vibration through this entire web. Every act of kindness uplifts the entire network. Every act of cruelty sends a tremor of pain through the whole. Your personal healing is the healing of the world. The well-being of the person next to you is inseparable from your own. We are all in this together, not just metaphorically, but as a fundamental, energetic, and physical fact of the universe. The modern world is built upon the foundation of what I call the myth of separation. We are taught from birth that you are you and I am me. Your body is separate from my body. Your success is separate from my failure. We believe we live inside our skin as isolated individuals, competing for resources on a dead, inanimate rock floating in a cold, empty void. This belief is the root of all fear, all conflict, all greed, and all loneliness. If you are separate from me, then I can harm you without harming myself. If the planet is just a dead resource, then I can exploit it without consequence. If we are all in a competition for survival, then your gain must be my loss. This entire worldview, which has driven our civilization for centuries, is now being shown by science itself to be a profound and dangerous illusion. We are not separate. We are one, interconnected system, expressing itself in a glorious diversity of forms. The name for this law, the law of the mycelial web, comes from one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern biology. For centuries, we looked at a forest and saw a collection of individual trees, competing with each other for sunlight and water. We saw the myth of separation played out in nature. But in recent decades, scientists like Suzanne Simard have uncovered a hidden reality beneath the forest floor. They have discovered that the trees are all connected by a vast, intricate subterranean network of fungi called mycelium. This wood-wide web is a biological internet that links the root systems of hundreds or even thousands of trees of different species across a huge area. And this network is not passive. It is a dynamic, intelligent system of communication and resource sharing. Through this mycelial web, trees can send each other vital information. An older mother tree can send excess carbon and nutrients through the network to younger saplings that are struggling in the shade. They are literally feeding their children. A tree that is being attacked by a pest can send a chemical distress signal through the web to its neighbors, and those neighboring trees can then preemptively raise their own chemical defenses before the pest even reaches them. They are warning each other of danger. The network can even shuttle resources from a species that is thriving to a different species that is struggling, maintaining the overall health and resilience of the entire forest ecosystem. The forest is not a collection of competing individuals. It is a single, cooperative superorganism. It is a family. The trees know what we have forgotten, that the health of the individual is inseparable from the health of the whole. My survival depends on your survival. This is not a metaphor. This is the physical reality of life on this planet. This principle of deep interconnection is not limited to biology. It is the fundamental message of modern physics. For 300 years, our world was governed by Newtonian physics, which saw the universe as a giant machine made of separate, solid parts, like billiard balls bouncing off each other. This was a physics of separation. But in the early 20th century, quantum physics blew that worldview apart. At the subatomic level, the very foundation of our physical reality, things are not separate and solid. An electron is not a tiny billiard ball. It is a probability cloud, a wave of potential that only collapses into a specific particle at a specific location when it is observed or measured. The universe at its core is not made of things. It is made of relationships, possibilities, and interconnected fields of energy. The most mind-bending discovery in quantum physics is a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. It is possible to link two subatomic particles, say two photons, in such a way that they become a single unified system, even if they are separated by vast distances. If you measure a property of one of the entangled photons, like its spin, you will instantly, and I mean instantaneously, faster than the speed of light, know the spin of the other photon. If the first one is spin up, the other one will be spin down, and vice versa. It is as if they are communicating with each other, coordinating their states in real time, no matter how far apart they are. Albert Einstein was so disturbed by this because it seemed to violate the rule that nothing can travel faster than light, that he famously called it spooky action at a distance. He did not like it because it pointed to a universe that was not made of separate parts but was a non-local, interconnected whole. But experiment after experiment has proven that quantum entanglement is a real and fundamental feature of our universe. The very fabric of reality is a mycelial web of spooky, instantaneous connection. The separation we perceive with our five senses is a trick of our limited biological hardware. At the deepest level of reality, we are all entangled. This is what the great spiritual masters and mystics have been telling us for thousands of years. They may not have used the language of quantum physics or mycelial networks, but their message was identical. In the Hindu tradition, the central teaching of the Upanishads is Tattvam Asi, which translates to "Thou art that." It means that your individual self, your Atman, is ultimately identical with the ultimate reality of the universe, Brahman. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The Buddha taught the doctrine of dependent origination, the idea that nothing has an independent, separate existence. Everything arises in dependence upon everything else. In the Christian tradition, the Apostle Paul spoke of the followers as being one body in Christ, where if one part suffers, every part suffers with it, and if one part is honored, every part rejoices. The phrase namaste, used in many Eastern traditions, has a beautiful meaning. The divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. It is a verbal acknowledgement of our shared essence, our interconnection at the level of spirit. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which appears in some form in nearly every religion on earth, is not just a nice ethical guideline. It is a profound piece of spiritual physics. It is a recognition that others are not truly other. Because of the law of the mycelial web, what you do unto others, you are, in a very real energetic sense, doing unto yourself. When we truly grasp the reality of this law, it changes everything. It changes how we see ourselves, how we treat other people, and how we relate to the planet. The feeling of loneliness, the fear of being alone and separate begins to dissolve because we realize it was never true. We are always connected. We are always held within this vast, loving, intelligent web of life. The drive for ruthless competition begins to soften because we see that the success of another is not a threat to us. A thriving tree in the forest network actually helps to strengthen the whole, including us. The feeling of powerlessness in the face of global problems begins to shift. We realize that while we may not be able to change the whole world, we can change our node in the web. And by changing our own vibration, by tending to our own corner of the network, we send a healing ripple out into the entire system. Let's make this very practical. How does this law impact the other laws we have learned about? it magnifies their power and their importance. The law of the seed is not just about your personal potential. It is about the unique gift that you, as a node, are meant to contribute to the whole network. The forest needs your specific medicine. The law of the echo is not just about your personal reality. The vibration you send out is felt by the entire web. Your joy uplifts the collective. Your fear drags it down. You are a broadcasting station for the whole world. The law of the river is not just about your personal abundance. It is about being a clear channel for the universal life force to flow through you and nourish the entire ecosystem. The law of the mirror is not just about your personal projections. The people who trigger you are not just mirroring you. You are both nodes in the same web, co-creating a pattern of energy. Healing your side of the dynamic helps to heal the entire pattern. Every single law we have discussed becomes a sacred responsibility not just to yourself, but to the whole of life. Living from the awareness of the mycelial web is the ultimate antidote to the ego. The ego is the part of us that believes in separation. It is the part that builds walls. The soul is the part of us that knows we are connected. It is the part that builds bridges. To live by this law is to consciously choose to operate from your soul, not your ego. It is to choose connection over separation, compassion over judgment, and collaboration over competition in every moment you can. So how do we cultivate this feeling of interconnection in a world that is constantly screaming at us that we are separate? We must practice it. We must train ourselves to see the web that is hidden in plain sight. Our first exercise is a simple but profound meditation I call tracing the connection. I want you to do this right now, or the next time you are sitting with a cup of coffee or tea. Hold the cup in your hands. Look at it. Now, begin to trace its connections backward through the web. Think about the person in the store who sold you this cup. Think about their life, their family, their hopes and dreams. They are part of the web that brought this cup to you. Now think about the truck driver who delivered the cup to the store, and the person in the warehouse who packed it in a box, and the factory worker who operated the machine that molded the clay. Think about the designer who came up with its shape and color. Think about the person who mined the clay and the minerals for the glaze from the earth. Think about the earth itself, the ancient stardust that formed this planet, providing the raw materials. Now trace it forward. Think about the farmer who grew the coffee beans or the tea leaves. Think about the sun and the rain that nourished the plant. Think about the person who picked the beans, the person who roasted them, the person who packaged them. Think about all the hands, all the lives, all the energy from across the world that has conspired in this very moment to bring you this simple cup of coffee. Suddenly, the cup is no longer just an inanimate object. It is a sacred nexus point of 1,000 threads of connection, a testament to the vast, intricate web of human and natural cooperation. You can do this with anything: your food, your clothes, your phone. Practice this regularly, and you will begin to see the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a living, breathing tapestry of interconnection. The feeling of separation will begin to melt away. Our second practice is an active one. It is called the ripple effect intention. Before you speak, before you act, especially in moments of anger, frustration, or judgment, I want you to pause, just for a second, and ask yourself this question: what ripple will this create in the web? If you send that angry email, you are sending a ripple of anger and cortisol, not just to the person receiving it, but through the entire network. They will then carry that energy into their next interaction with their spouse or their child, and the ripple will spread. If instead you pause, take a breath, and choose to respond with clarity and compassion, or even choose not to respond at all, you are sending a different ripple. You are sending a ripple of peace, a ripple of emotional maturity. That person not being triggered can then go into their next interaction with more peace, and that ripple spreads. This is not about being a perfect saint. It is about becoming conscious of your power as a creator of energetic ripples. Every day, you are either polluting the collective pond or helping to purify it with your thoughts, words, and actions. This practice invites you to become a conscious force for purification. Choose to create ripples of kindness, understanding, and compassion, even in small ways. Compliment a stranger. Let someone go ahead of you in traffic. Post something inspiring and positive online instead of something divisive. These are not small acts. They are powerful, energetic contributions to the healing of the whole. Our third exercise is designed to heal the illusion of us versus them. It is called finding the common ground. Our world is increasingly polarized. We are encouraged to see people with different political, religious, or social views as the enemy. This is the ultimate illusion of separation. This exercise is a practice of looking past the labels and finding the shared humanity underneath. I want you to think of a person or a group of people with whom you have a strong disagreement. It could be a political figure, a family member, or a social group. Now, instead of focusing on all the ways you are different and why you are right and they are wrong, I want you to get out your journal and make a list of all the things you have in common. Do they love their children? So do you. Do they want to feel safe and secure? So do you. Are they afraid of suffering? So are you. Do they want to feel respected and heard? So do you. Do they have people they love and people who love them? So do you. As you do this, you begin to dissolve the caricature of the enemy and see the real complex human being. You are connecting with the nodes of the web that you share rather than fixating on the ones where you differ. This does not mean you have to agree with them or condone harmful actions, but it does mean you can hold them in a state of compassion rather than hatred. Hatred only strengthens the illusion of separation. Compassion is the recognition of our shared being, our entanglement. It is the only force that can truly heal the divisions in our world. Finally, we must practice connecting with the largest part of the web that we are a part of, nature itself. Our fourth exercise is to engage the non-human web. We have become so disconnected from the natural world. We live in climate-controlled boxes, we stare at screens, we walk on pavement. We have forgotten that we are not just connected to other humans. We are connected to every plant, every animal, every river, every mountain. I want you to make a commitment to spend some time in nature every single week, and to do it with the intention of connection. Go to a park or a forest. Take off your shoes and feel the earth beneath your feet. Feel the way the ground supports you. You are plugging directly into the energy of the planet. Lean against a tree. Feel its solid, ancient presence. Acknowledge it as a living being, a wise elder in the web. Listen to the birds. Do not just hear them as background noise. Listen to them as a conversation, a part of the symphony of life. Watch the clouds. See them not as random puffs of vapor, but as the breath of the planet made visible. By consciously acknowledging the life and intelligence in the non-human world, you expand your sense of self. You realize you are part of a family that is much, much larger and older than humanity. This is a profound antidote to the anthropocentric ego. It fosters a sense of humility, wonder, and true belonging to the earth. The law of the mycelial web is the great homecoming. It is the final piece of the puzzle that shows us that our personal journey of healing and growth is not a selfish endeavor. It is the most important gift we can give to the world. As you heal your own wounds, you heal a part of the collective. As you find your own joy, you raise the vibration of the whole. As you learn to live in alignment with these 10 forgotten laws, you become a powerful, coherent, and harmonious node in the great web of life. You become a beacon. You become a healer. You become a living demonstration of what is possible when a human being remembers who they truly are. A unique and precious expression of a single, unified, and infinitely loving whole. You are not separate. You are connected. You are supported. You belong. Welcome home. Conclusion. Weaving the tapestry. We have reached the end of this journey of remembrance, but in truth, it is just the beginning. We have traveled through 10 forgotten laws, 10 ancient and powerful principles that govern the flow of life. We began with the profound truth of the law of the seed, realizing that our greatest potential is already encoded within us. We learned to communicate with the universe through the language of feeling with the law of the echo, and to become a conduit for abundance with the law of the river. We faced the challenging and liberating wisdom of the law of the mirror, taking ownership of our reality, and learned to honor our natural cycles with the law of the tide. We then bridged the inner and outer worlds, learning to navigate with the law of the compass and the step, and to dance with the paradox of creation through the law of the open hand. We discovered the courage to be ourselves with the law of the true note, reclaimed our most precious resource with the law of the magnifying glass, and finally, we came home to our place in the great interconnected whole with the law of the mycelial web. It is natural to feel a bit overwhelmed by all of this information. You might be tempted to see these as 10 separate, complicated rules that you must now master perfectly. Please, let go of that thought. That is the voice of the ego, which loves to turn wisdom into a checklist of new ways to fail. These 10 laws are not a to-do list. They are a tapestry. They are 10 different threads, each with its own color and texture, but they are all woven together to create a single, beautiful picture of reality. You cannot pull on one thread without affecting all the others. The law of the seed needs the law of the tide to remind it that growth requires patience and seasons of rest. The law of the echo needs the law of the magnifying glass to help you consciously choose the feelings you wish to amplify. The law of the compass and the step is powerless without the law of the open hand to release attachment to the outcome. The law of the mirror is so much gentler when you approach it with the self-acceptance you learn from the law of the true note. And all of these laws find their ultimate meaning and purpose within the grand unifying context of the law of the mycelial web. They all work together in a beautiful, dynamic harmony. Your work is not to master them one by one. Your work is to begin to see the tapestry, to feel the interconnectedness of these principles in your own life. This book is not an endpoint. It is a map. A map does not walk the path for you. The real transformation, the real joy, comes from the journey itself. It comes from the daily practice of applying these principles in your own messy, beautiful, imperfect human life. You will forget. You will fall back into old patterns of fear and separation. You will find yourself with a clenched fist, screaming at your reflection in the mirror, trying to be a trumpet when you are a cello. This is not failure. It is part of the process. The path of remembrance is not a straight line. It is a spiral. You will circle back to these lessons again and again, each time with a deeper level of understanding. Be gentle with yourself. Be patient with yourself. You have spent years, perhaps decades, living under the influence of the myth of separation. You have been trained to see the world as a hostile, competitive place. It will take time to unlearn these habits of consciousness. The most important thing you can bring to this journey is a sense of compassionate curiosity. When you find yourself in a state of resistance, get curious. Ah, interesting. I am really attached to this outcome. What am I afraid of? When you find yourself judging another, get curious. Fascinating. This person is really triggering me. What are they mirroring for me? This curiosity is the antidote to the ego's self-judgment. It transforms every challenge from a problem into a fascinating opportunity for growth. You're not just a cog in a machine. You are not a victim of a random, chaotic universe. You are a co-creator with a living, intelligent, and benevolent cosmos. You are the universe experiencing itself through your unique eyes, your unique heart, your unique hands. The purpose of working with these laws is not to manipulate reality to get more stuff. It is to align yourself with the fundamental nature of reality so that the magnificent power of life can flow through you with more ease, more grace, and more joy. It is about removing the dams you have built, quieting the dissonance you have created, and wiping the smudges from your own face so you can see the truth of who you are. It is about coming home. Home to your purpose. Home to your power. Home to your place in the great sacred web of life. The journey has just begun. Walk it with courage. Walk it with compassion. And walk it with a sense of wonder. The entire universe is walking with you. Your journey of remembrance has just begun. To receive more simple tools, guided meditations, and practical wisdom for living these laws, visit the Williams Audiobooks channel on YouTube and subscribe. Continue the conversation and connect with a community of fellow travelers. The universe is waiting.